from a home crowd. But standing in their way are the reigning world champions, NRG. While two of the top 3 teams from Masters London find themselves on the brink of elimination, with Edward Gaming facing off against RRQ and PRX playing the local favorites, Carmine Corps. One loss today for any of these teams sees them eliminated from the tournament, heading home in last place, no trophy or club championship points secured. This is their last chance to stay alive at EWC. Day 3 is here.
Thank you very much, Mitch, man. Welcome back to day 3 of the Esports World Cup 2026 Valorant. As we do have movement day today, winners move on to the bracket stage, losers go home. Tigon here alongside Kakuka and Big Time to get you ready for some huge matches here at the EWC.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Now the tournament's really moving. This is where it gets the crunch time. If you slipped up at that start, now your back is against the wall. No more losses. And, of course, a chance to secure a spot on that playoffs, playing in front of these crowds. That's what these teams want to get to.
A couple of days ago, we got to see what groups A and B were bringing onto the table from all of the different regions. We saw new compositions, some of the new structures that they are implementing for the rest of the year. And sadly, 2 teams will be gone. After today.
Right, again, elimination day for the teams that lost in day number 1 for groups A and B. We had ourselves 16 teams and a little bit more information on that across the format, which we'll have here in just a little bit. But again, the fact that everyone had their games on in and everyone got to feel what it was like to be at the big stage for the second time ever here in Valorant was kind of surprising, as the meta evolved in terms of maps, in terms of agents, and in terms of form that the teams are coming in on right after Masters London.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing some teams try and get a little bit more experimental, and we're also seeing big names not manage to live up to that expectation. PRX down there in that lower bracket is not what we would come to expect at this point. They haven't been grouped out of an international tournament since Champs Seoul, I think it was the most recent one. So this is not something they're used to at all. That's the kind of team we want to see bounce back.
Yeah, that was a couple of years ago, and especially with how Pacific has been performing in the past couple of years, it should be all the graces for them, but we love to see the surprises. We love to see some of the teams bouncing back. We're speaking about also the Chinese region when we speak about EDG changing comps. All gamers and the way that they played yesterday, giving a run for the money for Team Heretics. So absolutely brilliant what we're seeing so far.
Today is the last day where we will have all 16 teams, so if you missed out on it, we've got a format explainer on how it all works here at EWC.
Valorant is back at the Esports World Cup for a second year, and this time everything is bigger and better. We've added an entire extra week of competition, made sure all matches are at least a best of 3, and added an extra $750,000 to the prize pool to bring it up to $2 million. You don't want to miss a single second of this. 16 of the world's best teams have earned a spot here at the Esports World Cup. As the EWC 2025 winner, Team Heretics from EMEA have been invited back to try and defend their crown. They are joined by the Stage 1 winners of the VCT Regional Leagues, G2 Esports from Americas, PRX from Pacific, and Edward Gaming from China. As Team Heretics won VCT EMEA, but already qualified to EWC as the title defender, the second place EMEA squad, Team Vitality, also received an invite. The remaining teams all battled their way through the online qualifiers to make it here. 3 teams from EMEA, Pacific, and the Americas earned spots through each region's qualifier, while the top 2 teams from the China qualifier also advanced to LAN. We kick things off with a GSL group stage featuring 4 groups of 4 teams. Teams will play a double elimination bracket. Win 2 matches, and you advance to playoffs on the main stage. Lose 2, and you head home early. All group stage matches will be a best of 3. The top 2 teams from each group will advance to the single elimination playoffs. Matches here will also be a best of 3, until we reach the grand final, where 2 teams will face off in an epic best of 5. There will also be a third place decider match, played just before the grand final. That's everything you need to know, so let's jump straight into action. It's time to kick off Valorant at EWC 2026.
That's right, 16 teams made it all here. 5 from EMEA, 4 from Pacific, 4 from Americas, 3 from China, and some of those coming straight off of London. doesn't matter the form that you had before, you got to earn it here with those GSL brackets, and that leaves us with 8 teams qualifying for next week's playoffs, and we'll have a couple teams do that today.
Yeah, I mean, very much so. I think this tournament, sitting right after Masters London, is definitely interesting. You know, it might feel like a buff to have those international reps, that experience on that stage, but you have a really tight turnaround. We're seeing a lot of these teams who ran it through the qualifier looking really effective with how they've used their time. I think 100 Thieves is a brilliant example that we'll be seeing on this stream later today. So I think it's all up and down for these teams. And like you said, you got to earn everything here.
There are two very good things about this, right? We've had all of the matches have been kind of evened out. If we separate what MIBR did to Global Esports, we've seen, as we're saying, new things, teams really battling out for it. And also, we need to consider that for next year, the format is going to change in VCT, right? It's not going to be as we have it. So this kind of experience is priceless.
Yeah, again, right? The best teams here. And one of the coolest parts also is the prize pool, a massive $2 million prize pool, as you see on your screen there. 600,000 going to the title winners. Heretics would have loved to get this much. It grew from last year. Last year was 1.5, and now all the way up to 2 million. That's a lot of money here.
I mean, that's an insane amount of money. Let's be real. So I think these teams will be locking in to try and secure their share of that prize pool.
Plus the MVP. Do not forget, huh? Yeah. Do not forget that we're keeping an eye. You know, we were speaking yesterday about Leaf. I think the Faro Gamers Kira also as well is playing very, very well. We're about to see Timotino that I think is also playing very, very well. So, you know, if you're watching at home, of course, let us know what you think. Who do you think is going to be the MVP here at EWC?
Yeah, let's quickly dive through some of these groups that we had. Since we've seen all the teams so far in Group A,
इसका आवाज चला गया प्रोडक्शन टीम जिंदाबाद
playing right now.
Because that BBL game was winnable for them. We saw how well they were able to play on that first map, especially. So I do feel like they'll be kicking themselves that they're not playing that qualification game today.
Yeah, off to Group B, as PRX, Vitality, Carmine Corp, and NRG. We got to watch the Parisian derby between Vitality and Carmine Corp. And then NRG, although a 4 seed, the reigning world champs, upset PRX here.
Yeah, so today we will be seeing both of the games to see who is going to advance and who is going to go home. For KC, it will be a very short trip. For PRX, of course, a much longer one.
Yeah.
But I think that they're incredibly heavy favorites. Let's see if we see something that it's not very usual with PRX, and let's see if the pressure takes the best out of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Here it is for Group C. We got to see them last yesterday. It was G2 and Nongshim Red Force going head-to-head with Nongshim winning in 3 maps. And then Gentlemates taking the victory over XLG. A bit of a surprise there in Group C. And in Group D, Team Heretics, MIBR, Global Esports, and AGAL. And really that kind of felt like a 3-team group there with Global Esports winning 5 maps.
Yeah.
Total.
Look,
5 rounds.
5 rounds. So 5 rounds.
They wish it was.
भाई इधर भी बेइज्जत कीजिए जी
No,
का
I'm a Pacific defender until I die, but GE will be eternally disappointed with the performance they put up there. I think all gamers, though, on the other side, played an incredibly close game. They were so impressive, so that will be an elimination match to watch for sure.
Yeah, we'll get to see if Pat and his men are able to go ahead and figure it out there for Global Esports. As, man, it is such a stacked group, so let's take a look at just how things are going to shake out with how teams played yesterday, right? In day 2, we had a lot of action. We had favorites coming into the day, but that didn't necessarily mean that's how it was going to go. And then at the end of the day, we're kind of wondering what was the form of G2 and what was the form of Nongshim, given the fact that G2 has had international struggles and you know, maybe they'd be able to work through it here by getting more reps. And with Nongshim having started hot at the beginning of the year, and then kind of cooling off here.
Yeah, I mean, I think Nongshim, we touched on this yesterday, but their story...
I want to know your opinion.
It's been so up and it's been so down, and it looks like it's finally managing to be revitalized. You know, when this squad is hot, I love to see it, so that second game was a banger. This first one, though, Team Heretics, they do get the job done, but my goodness is this close, player.
If you want to enjoy just very clean shooting and crazy round, crazy individuals, this is the game that you need to rewatch. Team Heretics versus versus all gamers. We thought that just because of the pressure on the Chinese squad, because of the name of Team Heretics, and despite the performance that they had in London, they would beat the favorites. But all gamers, despite losing this series, did not feel like a loser at all. Very incredibly serious contenders. You can see the sweat in Benji's face. He was not having a good time. Vyqor, absolutely amazing. GRQ, insane with the Phoenix, the best we've had so far.
I mean, he's the one for me. You got to keep an eye on him moving through this tournament. You know, that map 3, they took him off. He was on that Omen, and I felt for him because on that Phoenix, he was just so fantastic. We also saw Heretics experiment a little bit. Koshmar was on that Neon. Then he tried his hand at the Phoenix, and that was unfortunately a little bit not as good.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it earlier.
आ गया आपका फेस कैम। आज भाई दोपहर को मस्त आता है। ये लाइट नहीं, बाजू का लाइट चालू करके आता हूँ मेरे को।
Cameras where we're like, oh no, they actually don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, a lot of times, and I remember Mitch and Tom calling also how late some of the timeouts were coming for them, how lost they were in so many situations. Do not get me wrong, they got into every map, I feel like, with a very even play field for both of the teams, you know, and it was that testing.
We should be good now. Yeah, we are good. और बताओ chats, what's going on? What's going on? मैच चल रहा है, बहुत टाइम है अभी, बहुत ज़्यादा टाइम है। इतना टाइम है कि मेरा ब्राउजर ही अटक गया। नेवर माइंड। माय गॉड। और बताओ चैट, और बताओ पबजी का स्ट्रीमिंग का भाई मेरे को कुछ इच्छा नहीं है। आई थिंक इच्छा तो है बट टाइम नहीं है। सॉरी EWC, टाइम नहीं है। टाइम यस। अभी तो टाइम तो दिख रहा है। लेट्स चेक ऑन लाइव है अपने में, अपन रेड मारते हैं उनके। मेरे को रेड मारने, मुझे रेड की जरूरत है भाई। मैं क्या उन पे रेड मारूंगा? जरूरत मुझे है, मेरे पे रेड मारो। फ्रॉडी लाइव है क्या? 4:30 को आने वाला था। नहीं, फ्रॉडी नहीं है। 4:30 को ऑनलाइन है वो अभी। बहुत टाइम है उसको। और कोई था इंडिया में से? रॉकिंग रिचीना, ये तो एसटीएल गॉड इंडिया राइजिंग की वॉच पार्टी चल रही है। एसटीएल वर्सेस गॉड लाइक। ओके, था रे यार। ओके आए यहाँ पे है तो। हाँ, इसका भी लाइव स्ट्रीम नहीं चल रहा है। साउ प्लेस का क्या सीन है? साउ प्लेस ये भी नहीं है आई गेस। कोई गेम बताओ यार खेलने के लिए, लाइक स्ट्रीम पे इंस्टेड ऑफ वैलोरेंट। वैलोरेंट इज कैन प्ले पबजी पीसी एज वेल ना। लिटरली कोई ऑनलाइन नहीं है। हाइड्रा फ्लिक वो भी रैंक पुश कर रहे हैं। आप ये चालू होने में 10 साल है अपने पास। डिस्कॉर्ड पे क्या सीन चल रहा है? यूजर नेम हैज बीन ट्रंकेटेड। है आज भाई, आज अकेले स्ट्रीमिंग करना है. Let's ask him. कहता. हाँ, एक काम करो, तब तक मैं जब तक चेंज करके आता हूँ. ये देखो, ओ हाइड्रा फील्ड नहीं दिखाना, सॉरी. तुम स्ट्रीम देखो. लरॉक तो है वे.
I mean, I really like this BBL team. I feel like they're incredibly fun to watch. They're amazing personalities. They're not afraid to be loud. They're not afraid to trash talk. That's when they're at their best. I need to see them bring that today because I think it's just fun for everyone when they're playing like that.
That's right. Who's going to be the one that steps up here for BBL?
I mean, I want to say Lovers Rock for me. I like Lovers Rock a lot. I feel like when he gets that operator rolling, he's an incredible player.
मेरा थोड़ा कम है, तो मैं अगर OBS से बढ़ा लूँ तो that will be
when he started to slow down that I felt the team struggle.
ये रहा,
If
OBS
he's
में
able
put
to stay
कर दिया.
consistent, I do think they have a good shot in this game.
And if he can get another sneaky defuse,
मैं आता हूँ 2 मिनट में, ठीक है? देखो तुम
very nice, destroys the mental of the opponent. To me, it's LaRock.
Yeah.
We saw him with the deadlock. It doesn't matter what we see him play. I feel like he struggled a little bit back in EMEA because the swaps might have been getting the best out of him, but he is the real angle of flexibility within this BBL roster. The rest of the roles are much more locked in, and he is the piece that might suffer sometimes here and there because of those swaps, but he's the only player that could actually do it within them.
Yeah, we got to hear from Rose in that post-game interview and how much it means to him to have the trust of his team, especially when things are going wrong. They still trust him, able to pull out the win there. We'll see if he's able to navigate it against NA stalwarts in 100 Thieves, who, again, took care of business. RRQ, done and dusted, haven't lost a game, and they are the team full of potential. They've been so close so many times to finally have that breakthrough. Maybe EWC will be the place to do it here.
Yeah, it's so funny when you look back across the history of 100 Thieves. They get clowned out a little bit in NA, just for never really managing to make it, never managing to get those qualifiers. You got to look all the way back to like First Strike for when this team was getting serious. But when we talk about who's going to be the guy for 100 Thieves, I want to cast your mind all the way back to that. Who was on this team?
Who is it?
Asuna.
Exactly.
Forever.
He's been on this team probably since the day he was born. He signed that contract. He bleeds the red and black here. So, he really has been through the ringer with this team. I would love to see that man succeed.
And especially when we are seeing now so much double duelists. Asuna is doing brilliantly and did brilliantly the other day against RRQ playing on the Phoenix. But to me, the biggest highlight of this team has to be Bora. Also, during the media day, I had an interview with him, and one of the questions that out of pocket I just asked because I wanted to know. I was like, hey, have you tried? I love asking people that come from EMEA for the first time this question. Is like, have you tried the Turkish ranked experience? And he was like, oh my God, they just ran at you. It's like they're everywhere. And I think that is now so in tune because he's now about to go up against 5 Turkish players that are going to be exactly like that.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very aggressive. I mean, again, we talked about the ascent that they played on it and the style that they had against EDG. So we'll see what 100 Thieves has in store as the players are getting themselves ready. Maybe we'll have map veto here in just a little bit for you to figure out what we're playing on. Oh, magical. There it is.
There we go.
So Fracture, Sunset are out. No Sunset.
Listen, after what we saw the other day, and again, if you missed it, BBL versus EDG map 3 Sunset, you would understand why 100 Thieves were like, actually, no.
Yeah.
It's just like, no.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a little bit interesting as well because we saw 100 Thieves ban out Lotus in their previous series. BBL insta-picking it here, so I think they will definitely be the favorites over on that first map.
I also understand for the side of 100 Thieves that they do not want to go to the Ascent either. LaRock is an absolute menace, the way that they're playing with that double Sentinel. And I think that it is the double Sentinel as well. Like when we think about G2 yesterday and the way that they were playing the Sunset, it was the Sage and the Chamber that were being so abrasive, making it impossible for their opponents to even get onto the site. So Lotus is going to be the first one for 100 Thieves. They've played it a couple of times this year and they have not been successful. The other day, we saw, now that we were speaking about the sneaky defuse, we saw a BBL going up against EDG.
Yeah.
very long overtime.
Yeah, I mean, I think they played a good half of Valorant, but they just left room for that comeback, you know, and it goes all the way 5 overtimes, I think it was. I think it's great for them mentally that they managed to close out that game. I think they know that really should have been a lot shorter of a map, but they did get the job done there, so they should still be feeling confident about it. And we know that their macro is good enough. I think it's a map that can suit their playstyle very nicely.
Yeah. And here we go. Agent Select underway on Lotus. This is our qualification match here in Group A. Both these squads victorious earlier. What jumps out of you at the Agent Select?
I mean, I think Timotino is hovering this waylay. I think this is something I've not seen too much of here under Lotus, so I'd like to see if he runs with that. Over on the side of BBL, it's that double duelist pairing that makes them so lethal. Lover's Rook on that Neon, when he got that operator rolling in the previous game against EDG, he was dangerous. That will be a huge part of BBL's defense here.
Yeah, they're still trying to find out for 100 Thieves exactly what works for them on this Lotus. You leave it open if you decide that Sunset is not the way, and especially this is a map that BBL likes. I would have loved to go back to like the Breeze days for BBL, but if this is the way that we have to go down, I say I'm going to take it. Vora is going to keep that fade on, as you were saying, Timotino, moving away from the Neon and on to the Waylay. They go back to having that Vyqor, something that sadly we do not see it anymore, but that offers a lot of control. When you're playing against a composition like the one from BBL, that can actually give you a lot of advantages. I keep looking at Asuna. I think that the other day he was amazing with the Phoenix, but now playing in with the Vice and also knowing how BBL likes to play this map, I'm looking at him to step up.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're trying to slow down what BBL are bringing here. I love that they're sticking with the Vyqor. Love Vyqor on Lotus, and it always makes you cry a little bit when I see teams avoid it. So I'm very curious what 100 Thieves have cooked up for this.
The pride of Turkey, the hope of NA, they go and do battle here for a spot at EWC 2026 playoff stage. It is BBL versus 100 Thieves. On the call is Tom and Mitch.
Thank you, Degon. Yes, indeed. 100 Thieves and BBL. BBL coming hot off the win versus EDG, but let's remember 100 Thieves opening matchup was a little bit more clean. This is definitely going to be a barometer for the performances of these teams. I think both showing a very good face in their opening matchups.
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity for either side to make it through first time. Of course, we know that there's not really a whole lot of simplistic matches that will be coming up throughout the remainder of the group stage. Those elimination, those deciders, of course, are not going to get any easier for either of these squads. And I think that both teams find themselves in a bit of a similar position where expectations are relatively high, but what has been delivered so far maybe doesn't quite match up to that. And I think BBL coming into this year set the bar incredibly high by making it to the first international, managing to get into, I believe it was a top 6, going close versus the previous year's champions, and then obviously going up against the likes of a G2 as well. So we know that they have a high caliber. On the other side of things, 100 Thieves, prestigious org from Americas, one where expectations are through the roof. They've been here since the very beginning of the game, attending, I think, even Masters in Berlin in 2021. They have been around the block. But it's been a while since we've seen them in that sort of top flight. I think the last Masters they attended was Shanghai, and I think the last event international they went to other than that was last year at EWC, where they went out in the group stage. So if they can make it through straight away, that's a big deal. That's them putting themselves on the map. And I think with the most exciting thing with both of these teams is they are proof of the young talent machine. BBL obviously did it in a slightly different fashion, where it is the entire roster that has come up from that tier 2. But of course, the couple of members that came out of TSM that have joined with their coach MBS over to 100 Thieves is more proof that you can invest into that talent. But then also, they have that longevity as well with Asuna, who of course has been in this roster for an incredibly long time. Cryo's been there a while, and Banger's been there, not been there, and then been there again. So I think it's an exciting matchup, one that I'm very excited to see which way it will go. And as said, like it doesn't look like there's particularly easy like EDG is still in that group. So even though maybe they had a bit of a rougher performance and BBL managed to show them up a little bit in the last 2 maps, you're not going to sit there and go like, well, if we lose this, we just maybe have to beat Kankan. That would be nice and easy one. No, it won't. They won't.
And we talked about EDG a bunch in their last game. The idea that as this tournament goes on, they're more and more comfortable playing with a stand-in.
We are back.
All the pieces are going to start to fit together. But for BBL, even if it was a weakened EDG, that is a big victory under their belt, an opportunity to again reclaim that fire that was lost coming out of the first international event of the year, where they went into it looking good, representing our region in EMEA. But after that, they failed to make those deep runs again, and this is where we want to see them bounce back, already with a win against a giant under their belt, and this 100 Thieves roster stands in their way of playoffs. The victor here will lock in a slot, and this is the thing, Tom, when we talk about this matchup in particular, speaking a little bit about the veto, I know we heard it from the desk, but do you think that is what decides who the favorite is coming into this? Has either team won the veto, or are we looking at a brawl today?
I think we've seen two teams like basically go down a route of like, okay, I think BBL banned a map they don't like, which is Fracture. I kind of think with 100 Thieves, they may be floating Sunset around. We don't really know. I don't think they first banned it in their last series, but they probably saw what happened to EDG versus BBL and went, now, you know, I actually don't fancy getting 13-3'd. They look like they were on fire. I think it genuinely comes down to who peaks on the day. Like, I think both these teams find themselves in a bit of a level playing field. I think Lotus as a starting map is an interesting one. It's not been a great map for 100 Thieves, but also it was kind of choky in the first game from BBL, so maybe not the greatest of signs for them in their map pool. And of the 3 maps they played, it was the worst one. Then you go into Split, the next map, and I'd put that fairly
match chalu gaya. Let's go.
So I think both teams have a good map that they should be winning. But if I've learned anything from Tier 1 Valorant, is that sometimes teams like to win their opponent's choice.
Yeah, but far more often than you would think. Now Lover's Rock took a blow early on, and he won't be surviving much longer. An easy cleanup for 100 Thieves towards the A site. And Lover's Rock was the only one here. Rose has filled in the space, a challenge, but a clean shot connected. Timotino with 2 already, and 100 Thieves with a plant.
Yeah, good opportunity to start this one off with a bang. There you go. Spike down. Aloyta, Larocque, and Kreven. Feels like a tough spot to try and break back into. They've won a lot of these rounds before, but I'd say the synergy we have for 100 Thieves with their full roster is expected to be slightly better than what's on the other side. And while all that's left is consolation frags from Kreven.
Nice shot.
He'll managed to find himself one, but ultimately, it is a very clean round from 100 Thieves.
A solid start. Dealing with Lover's Rock right off rip. That A main aggression is going to be something that they have to think about as time goes on. No doubt you're going to start to see that raise and fade rotated over to start filling in that space in the early fights, taking it out of the hands of your opponents. For 100 Thieves, a solid start, as you said. Now, coming in with mostly rifles. I like the buy. We've got Bulldogs aplenty, a Vandal in there as well. BBL have nothing to work with. The Bandit in the hands of Larocque. These are typically the rounds that they make look exceptionally good. But for now, stacked up towards the A site means that all the pressures on push comes to shove, but I don't expect that. I think that 100 Thieves are served better by playing this round slow in case they were to accidentally run into that A stack, for example. You know that BBL are going to, if they haven't pushed by now, they are going to be grouping up, waiting, setting a trap.
Oh. It is very patient.
Got to wait for reveal, surely, before they push again. 1 Prowler left.
I'm excited to see what they're going to pull out, though, with the Waylay. I feel like Waylay is one of those agents that, if worked correctly, I really enjoy it. But a lot of the time, it can be quite overwhelming. Like, if you don't have the spacing behind it. And I think the fact that it is that sort of solo duel is still be great for getting through a lot of that Vice utility from Kreven. Like, get past it. You can also do the same with Omen. And just have that supportive utility to help him out on the way through. But now, though, it's all about the orbs.
They saved their reveal still. Vora holding that for a crucial moment, but now the ranged fights look very favorable towards 100 Thieves. Stun going not quite into the right spot, but it's not going to stop Timotino from going out for a little bit more. They're eating them alive. And it's 2-0 for 100 Thieves. Very easily done with a flawless round. Of course, they are up against Classics. It's not one of the most interesting rounds, but
You know, I've seen many teams crumble to BBL with, I would say, 5 classics.
I've seen many teams this week.
Yes, yeah.
Just crumble to classics. So I'm happy to see a team that was methodical with it, was patient, took their time, got into the site, lost nobody.
And you see sort of the
Good
benefit
job.
as well of having that waylay where you're pushing into site, you just use one prowler, dive in, and you've cleared it, essentially the entirety of the site. And if there is a person there, you just get right back out. It's going to give 100 Thieves a lot of ability to avoid those trap plays from BBL. Of course, it's because it's an eco that you pull one of those in. But I'm expecting to see BBL harnessing some of their signature aggression in that early half, or early round, sorry, coming into the next few. For now, it is a bonus, of course, for 100 Thieves, but looking at what they're bringing to bear, it's not that weak of a bonus.
No, and they really can just gamble everything here because of how clean the last couple of rounds were. Also, the fact that you see all of BBL dive in mean those orbs have gone over. The Viper's Pit from Cryo, not crazy far away. Same with the Convergence path as well.
Perfect.
Again, slow build up from 100 Thieves. And as I sort of mentioned, this map is, of course, the choice of BBL. They were 12-5 up. And then ended up winning 13-11. Their past matches, letting things slip away a little bit. For now, at least. Can they get anything done?
It's a nice attempt with the Seasonade, but ends up as a trade. Loida falling, opens the A side completely for 100 Thieves, but they've lost their lurker through B. So yeah, BBL are going to be forced into a retake. But the man advantage to work with is, I think, more than enough. And you can see the utility being burned up there as well. No more paranoia to stop this retake. Seize is being used as well. They are shy of any options that aren't just shooting people in the face. With 4 players to take down, it's going to be quite a task.
I can hear Rose through my headphones. He's very vocal at this point in time. Barking out the commands. Gone over the top, though. Bang down below. Leaves the rock alone. 1 versus 2. To try and turn this back around, it's going to be difficult. With both players at opposite angles, and it's Vyqor already putting a 3rd round onto the board for 100 Thieves. That bonus, even with his weaknesses converted, and credits-wise, 100 Thieves are going to be through the roof.
Well, Bang did a phenomenal job to get those 2 kills from down below. Again, they've thread the needle right past him. He's hiding below in the smoke, lets the first one out, takes the kill, then manages to pivot alongside his teammate to take that heaven fight. But really, I think this round was in jeopardy the second that Loida goes down. He's solo on A. No one else is anywhere nearby to even take a glance. And as soon as he falls, that site, you know you're playing the retake. 100 Thieves given an upper hand. They converted with the, again, it wasn't a very weak bonus round. They went into most fights with a relatively even footing. He actually went for that shot, even full blinded, fair enough. But this injection of rounds is going to be massive. It's going to be a big difficulty for BBL. They've decided to invest something into this. Low Rock going down to 450 credits so that they can have a Guardian, but it's most likely a 4-0.
They're just patient with it. They are expecting the aggression out from their opponents. Definitely saw this in the past with teams expecting BBL to play in a certain manner. It does become, though, sometimes we talk about it being incredibly difficult for teams to actually deal with this squad, but what we've seen so far, just a hell of a lot of utility. Look, already the assists coming through. Rose was hit by a lot more utility, and just dissipated by that point. They're not really giving any opportunities, and not shying away from a fight either. An opportunity, maybe try and get that ultimate online for आज भाई नहीं बोलता है, बोलने का मूड ही नहीं है, आवाज निकलेगा नहीं मेरे गले से.
So you know why BBL have so much success when they have those pistols? It's often players left unchecked in that moment, or given a shot before the utility starts to come. 100 Thieves are playing such a clean game when it comes to those side XX. They're ready to freeze in the mid round, wait for util to be online, get those rotations through, and like, look at Rose. He gets hit by a Prowler, gets hit by a paranoia, gets hit by a reveal, the stun comes his way, doesn't hit him.
Fully
That's the one
utilized.
piece he was able to avoid.
Yeah.
Got shot in the face anyways. It's like, in that situation, there's almost nothing that you can do. And this is the problem. When BBL are leaving Lloyd last round, playing inside of Tree. This time, Rose here, filling in that space. They're being crushed by 100 Thieves when push comes to shove, and I'm really enjoying watching that attack side. Now this squad has got a ton of credits as well. Losing 1 or 2 rounds will not matter. They'll still be able to keep investing. So for BBL, this timeout is crucial. We don't just need to see them win a round because someone gets an ace. We need to see them come up with a game plan that's going to break what they're up against.
Yeah, and I want to talk back about that EDG game that they played on this map in particular. They lose it in OT, they win both pistols, and they had a hefty lead. And they got off to a great start, obviously, in both halves. They have not had that here. So I think it is very important for Key to sort of jump in, start having some words with the team, we know that this roster has a hell of a lot of flair. You know that LaRock, think back to his deadlock play in the last couple of days, the guy was genuinely ridiculous in how strong he could be. But if they're off to a slow start and they're getting picked apart, every aggressive peak that they're taking, they're getting shattered as they go through. Something needs to change, because this is their map choice. And, okay, sure, we saw them bounce back on the next couple of maps versus EDG, but 100 Thieves have looked very good when it comes to their split play, especially if you look at the EWC qualifier. They dominated Loud. You don't want to give them the opportunity to dominate this map and then go into the next one, which is their choice.
Exactly. I think that momentum will very much carry over BBL. A big round coming up. Full investment. Operator pushed up close. Prowler's already spotted them. And the second one's coming through. They know that there's going to be a bombardment of utility in just a moment. And so the space is going to be given up. Fighting from further back. Lovers Rock gets one and gets out. But they're not happy with that. It's a big dive in. Timotino's behind them. They don't have a clue. Completely caught off. Now the ult goes in. And another 100 Thieves. Stealing success, it seemed, but still a man behind. Not for long. As soon as caught LaRock hiding on the switch. But they're still surrounded. Players on either side. Rose draws their eye with a shot straight to the head of Cryo. And Asuna will have to do it all. He's been good so far, but he has no idea where Lloyd has been.
Up the qualifier throughout their recent form. There has definitely been one of the players to watch within this squad. And I guess he has been for quite a few years now. Reed is great. The defenders both gathering up on towards that C site as he makes the rotation all the way towards A.
अगला राउंड भी आ सकता है कि शायद क्राया का भी अल्ट है प्लांट भी है वो रखा है उसने भी गेट अल्ट इन 2.
It's only now that the BBL players start to rotate back in the other direction. He has got a real chance to take some aggressive positioning.
What was that?
Luckily, the defenders are waiting for each other, or maybe not. It's a little bit early from Loiter. But the shots were not landed.
He has got that flash to work with when they go to defuse. Maybe a chance to isolate a fight, but he's going to try to catch them on the way across. That flash caught in a little bit.
बहुत जल्दी आता है, समझ आता है क्या राउंड जाएगा.
With a shot to the head.
उधर हैंडशेक हो भी गया नीचे
from the
लोग का.
IGL as well. He's been a player that we've been talking about, sometimes having those slower starts to maps, sometimes being a little quiet. Certainly not in person. I can hear him scream in most of these rounds, but then he has those games where he steps up, those 20 plus maps that I feel like are getting more and more frequent over time.
I was going to say, I think the map you're referencing was this one. He only got kills in the back. That was it. Like, every other kill that he tried to get.
It was like 5 and 16 or something, where all 5 kills were backstabs.
Exactly. He had a really poor performance. This round, much bigger from him. And also, you see the difference of having the operator in for Lovers Rock getting 2 kills. Now, the problem was, and I'm a little bit surprised by it, they didn't hold that defuse for as long as they could have done. So Loiter was nowhere near retrieving that operator, so they don't have it for the next round.
Better safe than sorry.
क्या reveal है? कौन था वो?
Audio setups and all for BBL.
I think they're about 4 seconds quicker than they needed to be.
He's a nervous man. Doesn't want to be made a fool of, but Lovers Rock will be. The success here for Timotino has been ridiculous.
Blue saturate.
Dash in and
Blue saturate.
There's no defense of this C site. They put up the thorns and he just flies right
over them. अच्छा.
The only way they've defended it is the operator, and you see Lovers Rock gets domed immediately in a rifle v rifle fight. But then the setup onto the second player stood no chance. There was nowhere to stand, and a man facing it on them. This is what you like to see with a Waylay. a player that is perfectly set up to find a kill. That's a gap though. And a Nightfall thrown in for Rose. 3 players connected.
Ult gets 2.
Double for LaRock. The execution
gets 3.
is looking weak already.
That's the second round for BBL.
You might have the perfect execution, but you might not have the counter to LaRock.
Rose is the trigger point there, right? He goes into the site, finds
Rose
a kill,
ult,
and in that 3
defense,
versus 5, I was already thinking
Rock
this is such a shame for
plays
BBL
with his
because they
ult.
had the ability to
That's
retake.
2.
They had the ultimates to do it. But now, after those 2 kills, you can't really afford to commit those ultimates. What's the point? But that moment, that kill, that's when they decide, let's send it.
Close.
So the Nightfall and the Showstopper sent through. Perfect positioning from LaRock. He even crouches into the angle after showing his barrel afterwards, which is just nasty. You can see how off guard that player was caught. And yeah, like you said, a great execution from 100 Thieves, but they could not hold the land they took.
Can get one. No.
Why we always talk about LaRock in such high regard. The 2 kills with the Showstopper, okay, maybe a little bit of luck, but the rest is just skill. The rest is just individual brilliance. That one's got to be a little bit frustrating because it did feel like 100 Thieves did everything right.
Okay.
And Operator is going to be back into play. As I said, that was the one way they were able to at least hold some ground, and the patience this time, well, the savior of the last is executed.
Cover going out.
He die a martyr.
Paranoia for
That can be a good paranoia.
Moment now. First sign of danger.
Well,
there we go, and he's going to kill first troubles.
It's out.
Out of there. Seeming easy for him. And the wrap around now coming into play. Rose right behind them. They've left the wall for C, so they don't know about this walk-up. They thought they wouldn't dare to push B, but Rose now.
Patience.
He's, oh no!
1, 2, 3.
Eventually 3.
No way.
I thought it was going to be a whiff that would haunt him for weeks to come, but Cryo left alone.
एक पल के लगा होगा खत्म कीजिए. One.
Nice shot.
Cryo and T.
Rose just baited us.
Those first 5 shots really made me scared.
Warning shots. It's fine. Look how cool and collected he is. Didn't even sweat for a second.
Oh, really? For real. Like that's.
Yeah, except you wouldn't hit the 3 kills.
I wouldn't
have
covered that.
The second you missed the first, that's it.
But
it's like,
I saw him miss 3 bullets, and I was like, well, I know how this one goes. Let me tell you.
My gun's going into the air.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot 15 bullets into the sky. He corrected in time, and that flank was perfect. Like, again, it was a great start to the round. The patience to catch out LaRock. Loiter then has to re-aggress. And what they were doing really well early on was soaking up a lot of that pressure, but it's just the fact that they're able to come in on that flank. And that's sort of the value that you can get from a player like Rose Phoenix. Like the difference already in how he played last time out is night and day. 7 and 5 at the top of the board for his team. And although it's no doubt that Timotino has been frying, clearly feeling like maybe there needs to be a chat a little bit earlier on in this map. Of course, as mentioned, when you look at Lotus as a whole in the last few months, it's defeats to G2 and NRG. And don't get me wrong, those are very good opponents. In fact, if you're playing in Americas, those are the 2 you probably fear most, or at least in longevity. There's probably a 3rd team called Leviathan that people might feel a little bit more as of right now. But
recency bias.
Yeah, you know, I think if you win a Masters, you're allowed a little bit of recency bias.
Especially if you smash people on the last couple of days you're playing. Well, attempt to dodge the flash from Lover's Rock, goes back out and takes Timotino. Not a bad start. Considering it's been 100 Thieves with that success in the early picks, right after the timeout, they're losing 1. And, well, see, I say and then but, because BBL have pushed up. It's a big risk, but it's also unexpected, and it works out in their favor. I wasn't sure about that one, seeing them set it up, but, well, the execution was perfect.
Yeah, it's just Loiter things. Like, you look at that and you go, this is a risky play, but always seems to be successful in making it work. Bang is now trapped, and there's a second player here. Paranoid. Okay, never mind. Asuna's been able to help him out a little bit and managed to find a second. Lover's Rock has to be a little bit careful here. Otherwise, he might just give him a way back into the round. And that's exactly what he's done. A chance to plant. Opponents
never mind, आ गए.
expected to be a little bit closer.
What?
Loiter goes
Shot.
alone. They're all going alone. Everybody believes
Steel
they are
Garden.
the star of the show, and instead, Arsenal might just be the one to put them on their bums, leaving one man left, but that one man is in the right place at the right time. You are lucky, lucky boys, BBL, because you played right into Arsenal's hands.
Yeah, listen, the heist was perfect, but the getaway car wasn't there. That's a real shame for Arsenal. What an attempt. But for BBL,
very good attempt, bro.
A shame as well. One by one with advantages under their belt already, a 2v1, and we're just walking in. But again,
This is a 2v5.
You see why, like, in these situations, they're taking massive risks already. But there should come a point where, like, you hit 5v2 and you go, okay, we don't need to do that anymore. And sometimes that is the problem for BBL. Sometimes it is the solution. This time around, almost got punished. Right back to winning ways. Another opening pick up against Pistols. Should be a formality. We don't want to see too many risks taken in this round, that's for sure.
The Rock can take 2. That's one.
Rock facing out.
Whoa!
What a
Moving
flick.
as a unit.
बढ़िया flick.
Has Loiter
Asuna,
alongside him, and okay,
Okay.
there's an opportunity
वापिस हो
there
लगा
for
था,
Arsenal,
वापिस करेगा वो
wasn't it?
सही
It's like they don't respect him. Just specifically him. They're like, oh, it's just him alive? Okay, let's take it all, but I'll look in the other direction. Nobody check anything. Ah, it's all right, we got him anyway.
Well, Rose was smiling coming out of that round, so
They're in the lead.
maybe it was relief with what just happened, or indeed, that was a crazy shot from the Rock as well. But relief that a bit more didn't end up going Asana's way, especially after the last round. For 100 Thieves, a 4-0 start, and now 5-4 up against them. A timeout used by both sides, and for 100 Thieves, no result.
भाई एक सब्सक्राइबर मिल सकता है अपने को. We are at 49. Let's go half century.
BBL
Let's go
swelling
for
into this
100.
late half, and the question now is for the defensive side.
ये
How
क्या
many
सुनने
rounds
मिला
can they
है?
get up on the
Frost has
board? They're
joined
coming into
forces
this
again,
with
bro.
5 ultimates, so many safety
AI
nets to
तो
fall
है.
back on, and that was the
AI
difference
तो
maker
है.
in the last round that 100 Thieves were so close to winning.
Ah, they're doing this again. They're literally looking to put the pressure onto Cryo. There are a multitude of attackers here.
That's an ult. Steel
Showstopper,
Garden.
well, that's not going to be
बढ़िया
taken
Steel
away.
Garden by the
And
way.
instead, it's going to get rid of
And बढ़िया ult by
Arsenal as well.
Rock, not Steel Garden.
You're pushing their spawn at this point. This is the scary thing. BBL are always going to be aggressive. But if they start to smell weakness, as
This
that
can be a भाई ले जा
blood
सकती
in the
है BBL.
water,
पर half time के बाद सीन हो गया था.
they will just start tearing you
That's
apart
okay.
while Lauren even has a
The
little bit of
Rock.
extra time just to spam into the bodies.
He's hitting shots now that he shouldn't be, and that's a terrifying thing because we saw Larocque the other day, and he was putting himself in good spots. I don't think he was quite on his on form as he is right now. Now the shorty blast back is a sign of the confidence. He's caught him for one, found nothing, but Revora, 4 more players to find. Ulti's there, he's tagged up, and there is just no way. It's been an impressive return to form for BBL, and in those first 4 rounds, we didn't see them get aggressive early. We saw them sit back. We saw them get executed onto and not have anything to do in response. It looked like a completely deactivated BBL. I was getting worried. But as soon as we see them go, guys, remember who we are. Let's play our game. Let's get aggressive. Now they're right back to the BBL I know and love.
That's what Key did. I don't think anything he did in that pause was to do with strategy. I think he just went, guys, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing? Why are we sitting back? Why are we not like giving it to them? And they go, yeah. Why are we doing that? And then 3 of them fight into their opponent's spawn in that round, and win every fight. By the way, they didn't lose anybody in that fight, which is mental.
It's been consistent. Like since round 5, BBL have started to play aggressive. Since round 5, BBL have been winning.
It
works.
From 1000 साल पहले से plan ही नहीं मिल रहा है इन लोग को. क्या करेगा ये लोग?
Gets out of there. Knife
Everyone
out,
has ult.
across
Bora will
the
have
mount,
ult.
protected him for now
Can't
at
have
least.
ult. We will have 4
Hear
ults.
that outlaw ring out to Matino and Asuna, both quaking in their boots. One shot will be enough to drop them. Timatino's going to be quick. He'll have his recall. He'll fire himself through, and there's going to be a bunch of utility to help him out. Nightfall's the first. TP taken as well by Omen. Timatino putting pressure on the backside. Lovers Rock trying to survive on sight, but they don't know about that flank. They didn't expect the double TP to take place. And now 100 Thieves. The ball is in their court.
Don't give him anything.
All they have to do is walk
honestly,
it
valid.
home.
Oh, still gets
valid.
one.
Completely valid.
He still got one.
Yeah, now Kreven's chance. Bear in mind, one of the players is desperately low on HP.
What?
Careful.
What?
Never mind. It is Vyqor to shut things down in the end. 100 Thieves back on the board. And I will say one of their major strengths so far has been that C-site execution. If they can get there, it's looked very, very good. It's just, I think one of the major changes for me was actually the operator. Like, once that came into play, they were losing a pick while trying to go towards C, and then you reroute the other way. You don't go in. This time, they managed to bypass Lover's Rock. They get to the site, and again, their execution is very good.
Yeah, I think like one of the main things there for me is how audacious Bang was. I'm pretty sure he TP'd to site. Well, I know he did, and then I think he TP'd back site as well. So the double teleport, of course, they're hit by the Nightfall, so they can't hear. But he's been having a bit of a tough game. And that's when sometimes you got to pull out the haymakers. That one landed. 100 Thieves now in with a chance to equalize at the half. They were 4-0 up, so it's definitely not an ideal half, no matter how this pans out. Nightfall used, players spotted outside rubble, and Asuna is going to be seen outside B. At this point, BBL have all the information to work with, and they're doing the right thing. They're filling in that C main control and crunching B as a response. They are giving 100 Thieves no room to breathe. They literally noticed Asuna was there 5 seconds ago, and there were 3 players there moments later.
Rock's position might not be expected, and if he has the drop on you, it's probably lights out just as he's facing into that operator of Lover's Rock. I don't even know if he's had a kill yet. That wasn't with the sniper, and that's not going to change anytime soon. In fact, the only way he doesn't hit the shot is if LaRock hits it first. From 4-0 down to a 7-5 defensive half, that is a very good recovery from BBL.
Yeah, that is definitely not something you can turn your nose at. For 100 Thieves, the C-side executes have actually been pretty much all that works. It's definitely been the shining light of this half. Whereas for BBL, it looked like they started to get a really good sense of where they can get aggressive. They were getting out when they were canceling the aggression. They were not being punished for it either. So you start to feel a little bit invulnerable in those early fights. And so we saw them go for them again and again. And sometimes, yeah, you know, LaRock would come around the corner with a shorty and a blast pack. But for the most part, they kept it clean after that kind of round 6 or so, where there were a few mistakes, a few opportunities given away. I like what I'm seeing from BBL, but I'm more than looking at 100 Thieves. And how, as soon as the aggression came out, they were caught off by it almost every time. The lurks haven't been hitting there either. But I guess the question is, have they got enough rounds under their belt, even with that?
Yeah, I think looking at their composition, like they had some very cool executions, which I think we saw from time to time. But like when I see a Vice, Viper, Omen Fade, I think defense-wise, that's where I'd sort of set them up. Even the Waylay has the ability to completely stall a push with the ultimate or with the stun, so and gives him an opportunity to go walkabouts with the operator, which I assume will be coming in once they have the finances. So I don't think they'll be too unhappy with how things went, other than the fact that it was from 4-0. I think that's what's a little bit more worrying for me, because when you get players like LaRock firing, you now have to shut him down. And I don't mean in one round. Like, we've seen him get shut down in a round or two just by doing something ridiculous. He's going to keep going until you completely shut him out of the match. And I don't know if that's going to happen now.
Well, that's the thing. Once there's that little bit of success, I genuinely don't think it's possible that he fails even 5 times in a row and doesn't go, I'll get him the 6th time, though. That was just a flip on the radar.
Still positive in KD?
Exactly.
Never mind, then.
So I do think confidence is going to be a big deal, because with BBL, with them being a young team, that's always something that we talk about. That's always something that we hear teams talk about. But then you add to that the team that they are. You know, if you know these guys from EMEA, if you know them from the first Masters this year, you know full well that once they get confident, once the ball is rolling, it can be very difficult to stop it. The task now for 100 Thieves with a decent half. Like you said, 7-5 on paper at the top of the board. Yeah, that's fine. That's a good half. That's recoverable. Pistol will put you neck and neck. You look at the bottom or bottom middle, and that's a different story. The 4-0 lead, you really want to get more from those foundations. Instead, we've only got stick walls, 7-5, a 2-round gap. And BBL on the attack now, as you said, for 100 Thieves. I am excited to see what this defense has. Even look at the C site right now. You've got a Viper and a Vice. If it's a full buy round, that's a lot of daunting utility. It's 2 strong players nonetheless, and a lot of pistols invested into. Nothing but bandits, sheriffs, and ghosts on the side of 100 Thieves.
They're looking for headies as game of the game. Rid of Loiter definitely makes things a little bit more awkward. Don't have the
I'll be
smoke,
not
so you're going to
streaming
have to
tomorrow's
play
matches.
with
ठीक है?
those rotations a little bit more.
Stream नहीं होने वाला.
Timatimo
Day
have
5.
been spotted, and he's getting
क्या
stunned up.
करेंगे?
Every piece of utility thrown into him, and honestly,
Monday
there was
को होगा
nowhere
बस
left
एक
to
ही
go.
match का stream.
Rock
थोड़ा
closing him down,
काम है.
leaving a gap on the A side, but it feels like BBL are mostly playing a ruse here. They're trying to bait their opponents into rotations, giving an opportunity to Kreven, but he does not win that fight.
Oh, the shots land for Vora. The advantage extended. That was BBL's chance to have an easy push to sight, but now pressure from both sides as they press forward behind, closes in, and Rose finds himself against the world. 3 to take down. A Sheriff and 4 bullets, and no time for the reload. He's eaten that flash. He thought he was avoiding it a pixel too close. And with that smoke down, spamming with 4 shots isn't exactly viable. He needs to be quick, he needs to be clean, and it looks damn near impossible, proving to be a pistol for 100 Thieves. Well, that should close the gap.
I feel like fair play to for realizing they weren't initially defusing, but yeah, other than that, pretty much all went the way of 100 Thieves. That's the second pistol round now taken by the side that currently trails, but a good opportunity for them to build up into this round. Now, I expect to see maybe a pistol or 2 coming in for the side of BBL, or they could go for a full investment because of that plant, but I don't think it's really worth the risk. A chance to potentially do a little bit of damage, get some orbs farmed up, and with Larocque already with 3 under his belt, even if they can pick one up and he gets a kill and dies, he's going to be 2 away from a showstopper.
Yeah, that is without a doubt a problem. And the BBL side looking to immediately pick up the pace towards this C site. The smoke put just to allow them around that initial corner. A reveal up top, full main clearance. But pushing into the site's a different story. Those thorns are going to cause problems for direct to site plays. But the double TP taken by Loida, matching the performance from Bang earlier, but it's only 1 found. And with a round like this, you need so much more pistols for BBL. The Spectre left on the floor. Nice shot by Kreven. The question of damage, I think, is where we're at. A few more kills, and this could spiral out of control for 100 Thieves. Luckily, they seem to have a handle on it.
Nice.
But as far as the question of damage, I would say that was a success.
Yeah, no, 3 players going down with what was basically a direct C hit with barely anything to play with. Like you talked about.
Vice utility as well.
Yeah, how devastating the utility is normally on that side of the map. They didn't make it look like it was, and even some of those fights being quite isolated because they got sectioned off by the wall. So, not a bad round at all, of course. The main thing is getting that conversion. Keeping things even in terms of that scoreline, but you can see how much of a weakness they've created for 100 Thieves. It is an Outlaw, it is a Spectre, and it is pistols. This looks more like if you lost the pistol and tried to go for a force buy in the second round.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams will even invest more into this to give them a little bit of a chance. This in terms of the 2.8K, the 2.4s on Asuna. Of course, Timatino can save up that cash for an operator. But with Bandits in the current state, remember, this was a weapon that was used in a very big way over in London, and now it's been buffed. So it's no surprise to see it have such a prevalent face here, the buff making it way easier to handle as well. It's like it essentially functions more akin to a Guardian now, with the taps being more accurate in between, having a slower reset time. Handles much better for sure. But you got to get close to use it.
Never mind.
And on the defense, it's easy if they push your site, but they've gone into the C site. It's gonna have to be retaken, right? They're here quite early, but surely they're not just going for it. They've already found one. The utility's being thrown. They're through the smokes. Yes, they're going for it. 100 Thieves picking up the pace. I thought they played the retake. I thought they tried to punish aggression. But the first kill spurred them on. And now Cryo's left to find them all.
Got 1 bullet left, but
Blank's coming.
smoke makes it very awkward. I was about to say a single bullet in that bandit
backstep.
would have been problematic, but he's waiting to see how aggressive are the opponents going to be in this case. Not
almost
clean.
I like that Kreven after that is laughing like really hard after how much he whiffed. I don't think many people would be doing that, but you know, these guys are having fun.
I mean, he's a good teammate. That's what you'll see from Sentinels a lot of the time. Obviously, he felt bad for Rose earlier on, the couple shots that were missed, and he said, look, I'll make him feel a bit better. I won't let a guy kill me, but I'll let him hit me and go, oh, look, see, it can happen to any of us. Any of us, bro. You, me, probably not LaRock, but,
He's
you
like,
know.
you, me, but you.
But mostly you.
mostly
you.
but like
On this map.
me, look, me too, but
Especially on this map, you
the
keep
rest
doing
of the
it.
game, probably you.
I actually think Rose is like a 50% hit rate on
Yeah,
people
you
looking the
really
opposite
gotta
way,
wait a
only
bit.
on this map. I don't know why.
Aggressive start out from the defensive side. This is their
Yeah, we can have to
full
get a
investment,
nice
nice
one.
work from Timotino and Bang. That aggression
Arsenal
has
on
been
the same
massively
spot.
successful, beating BBL at
Arsenal
their
nahi
own
hai, nahi.
game, and
ऐसा नहीं है
aggressive positioning. They are not shying away from a fight, especially with that comeback. You start to worry a little bit that maybe they're going to fall
Doesn't
back into
know,
passive
he doesn't
positions,
know.
allow BBL that space, but that is
किया तो
not the
टपकेगा।
case whatsoever.
ठीक किया तो टपकेगा
Arsenal is expected in this corner.
That's
Okay,
what-
that's awkward, and that's the spike, but
That's
I don't
true.
think it's going to matter
That's
for
round
long.
for
Everybody falls and everybody
Thieves.
stands on the side of 100
it all
Thieves.
for both
They have leveled things up once again. Now we look towards BBL to see what they have on that attack side, and if this is now going to be an extension, just as we saw in the last half.
Well, considering, yeah, how things have gone, a streak of rounds doesn't really mean anything.
कितने बार आया मेरे को take this
For
करके
100
इनका
Thieves, they build up this defensive side. They're 3 out of 4 so far. Likely to be another with such weaknesses here. The BBL were slow to start, but they found their footing eventually. Here on the attack side, I don't think they have those same excuses, though. The start of this round, much more direct towards C site.
They were trying
They
to bait
get
the
up,
wall, but
and
they're
they're
not there.
immediately halted as well. Deeper utility in play this time. They don't hear the Thorns as they step in. They're up top instead, but Asuna is going to be caught. Cryo does well, but that... Oh,
what happened क्या हो गया अटक गया बे अच्छा तुमको दिख रहा है मेरा सीन अटक गया यहाँ पे
Ultimate has traded it out, the showstopper, bringing weapons into the hands of BBL now.
Going. Lovers Rock's on an adventure. The spike has been left alone, and now
to
there's a
refresh sorry guys
flank clutch
अटक गया था
with 2 now back together. Well, to an extent, the Rock falling further behind, but just look at every single angle methodically because of how aggressive his opponent was just moments ago. A nice shot though. I don't know if he had the time.
Shot by
no,
Bangs.
That's unfortunate. A nice attempt from Bang and a costly round for BBL. But honestly, I think they'll take the round.
A win is a win, that's for sure. Yeah, BBL taking the lead with a thrifty buy. They came in here with stingers for the most part. Their objective to go towards that wall. I think possibly even split to B after. I'm not sure what the idea was on hitting, or if they were going to break through it as a unit. And then they realize it's not there. They realize the setup has changed, that there's a danger
shots.
lurking there. The danger dealt with so quickly, but this cerebral play from Lovers Rock is what gives them that clean exit. Even though Bang's able to find those 2 kills, which fair play to him for that, but time was his biggest enemy and not one he stood a chance of defeating. A timeout now called by 100 Thieves. They will freeze the clock for a moment and have a chat, one last chat, unless BBL give them one. Their opponents now in a dangerous position.
It's quite fun being in this lobby because obviously you've got Americas versus EMEA.
that's a timeout again
But when it comes to the coaching staff, it's EMEA versus EMEA. MBS, a previous champions winner, the first to ever do it. Of course, his assistant coach was a Masters coach.
कोचेस का कैमरा दिखाना चाहिए ना इन लोग को भाई
They've got very good people
और भी मजा
behind the
आएगा
scenes.
कोचेस कैमरा इन लोग को दिखाना चाहिए
On either side of things, of course, he has been noted with the rise of this BBL roster through the Tier 2 to Ascension winners to making it to a Masters, making it here.
You know, the real shame, MBS, there's a lot of things he doesn't get as much credit for as he should, but
This going.
really and truly, no, from the heart, this is, don't worry, it's not a dig. It's his shirts, man. His shirt game needs a lot more credit. The guy, he did it, and he did it in style, and that's what I appreciate. We're back into the game, and BBL, Looking again to take the pace up towards that C site,
नहीं
met by
करेगा,
utility,
rotate
met by a
rotate
wall, and they don't want
खाली
to go
side
through
never
it.
mind.
Instead,
आ गया
they'll send it back in the other
अब भाई।
direction. A big risk at this stage. You can see the ping going down. They know A main could have been pushed up in. We have no control over B. Swinging the door, sure, will give you a glance, but they could be behind the boxes. They could already be up. The Prowler will at least give you a bit of security that hasn't taken place. But then you think about A main. However, I think BBL want 100 Thieves to have pushed up. They know that if someone's here, they're probably on their own at this stage. And if they are, well, we can outnumber them. We can overwhelm them. Let's see if that is the case.
Seen this one before. That Prowler didn't land. Before there were stuns thrown into position, and while that's Loiter gone for it. There is a trade back, but
Face your fear!
a lot of
That's a
HP
push.
damage.
Well,
Valorant's gone in with ult, while
Nice shot
incredibly
by
low on
Vora.
HP. That's an easy kill for Vora, but this was all a ruse. They're trying to split back in the
Oh,
other direction.
God,
Nice
bro.
shots from Cryo. A quick flick from either side. And that's them level once again. And I will say I like the adaptation, because I think what we saw in this round was there was a C-site hit where they dominated, the first one, 100 Thieves.
Yep.
Then they go, okay, well, they're not going to do that again. And they did. So then after a pause, they go, they're going to do it again, aren't they? I have a feeling. Because a lot of teams would go, well, they're not just going to keep going C. So they stack up. There was 3 players on the C site early. They had all of the utility there. They have a paranoia. And BBL go, we have to go the other way. And that's where they have the aggressive positioning from Timotino, the off angle from Vora, and then the rotations. That's just a good read coming out from 100 Thieves.
And now, Viper's Pit immediately put down on the C site. So if you want to come see another time, it's going to be even more difficult than before.
Nice
BBL should be looking elsewhere. You go towards A, Timotino's there to be dealt with. And in this round, he is as deadly as can be. One shot to the body will be more than enough before it goes for 4. The Rock down and out right away. And in these rounds, like in these pistol rounds, okay, I'll give Lover's Rock on a Neon with a judge. I'm terrified of him. But the Rock is really the shining light. If someone's going to come out of these with like 4 quick share of headshots, it's normally that guy. It's certainly not that guy now.
The worrying thing is you say most likely, but it's like, I feel like there's only like a 1% less chance that Loiter or Kreven does exactly the same thing.
This is true.
Kreven with pistols, man. Like sometimes he does stuff where I'm just like, that makes no sense. But no, I think, especially with the Viper's Pit in play, with a Vice Wall in position to help out Cryo, it's going to be very difficult for anybody to get into this position. They even have it covered with Asuna on the other side. It's a nice little hold. It's one that I think they desperately wanted to make sure this goes through. And well, there's one of those pistol headshots. Loiter heard you, I think.
They're going to get a plant out of this.
A again.
How in the world has this worked? This strategy
A
started
as
by
fast as
Lover's
he
Rock
can.
realizing there's a
Having a
Viper
outlaw.
in a pit and a
default going
Vice
plant.
here. I'm going to run in through it. And somehow they're in a 3 versus 4. Still a lot of work to be done. They've not got the weaponry to make this work. Kreven does have a good position, and okay, at least a decent shot, but now they know one player off-site. So pick up the pace towards it. Bait out that fight. That man's already dealt with him with a classic, and Han Rose didn't stand a chance. I think even getting a plant out of that, honestly, was a silver lining for BBL. But the lead for 100 Thieves and double digits secured.
Yeah, you can see after the pause
हिंदी में नहीं
they've
करता था
managed to find that little bit of extra semblance. I don't mind the ult being invested into this round as well. It's like you know that there's a good likelihood that they're going to do something hyper-aggressive, like, I don't know, slide through with the judge. So you put the Viper's Pit in to make that player more vulnerable, and it almost baits them into thinking that maybe there isn't a second player there, even though the Vice Wall was there.
Well,
and then
the Thorns. They threw the Thorns like 3 seconds before that, so you knew at that point they didn't, right? And then they said, "Let's go." Okay, we're gonna go in 5 seconds. Thorns came in, and most people go, actually, let's go anywhere else." And Lover's Rock was like, "No, I've already been let off the leash. You let go of it. I'm gone."
He's like, yeah, he's literally like, when you're pet and you're like holding on and you go like, you wouldn't just run off if I
I'll
let go
of this while I pick this thing up, turn around, he's gone.
Like,
he's just gone.
Into the woods. You never see him again.
Chasing a squirrel.
But no, if there's any player that has absolutely no fear, well, I was going to say in this tournament, but Levin does give him a run for his money. Between the two of them, though, a lot of aggression that can come through. And now the pause on the other side. Now, bear in mind, last time we saw a pause from BBL, they went from 4-0 down to winning the half 7-5, and I believe they won 5 rounds in a row. So we'll see what Key has on offer. Of course, it gives the same opportunity for MBS and Doombros have the conversation with their side. A close back and forth map, and honestly one where I feel like both teams are playing well. I feel like we've seen some closer games so far where I'm looking at a lot of the mistakes rather than just solid game plan. And well, speaking of game plan, immediate usage of that convergence path, denying them the A control, but it hasn't caught anyone.
But away still.
Well, we've been going C at the start of every round, so this time let's go A at the start and then rush into C, and hopefully we won't be running into Vice and Vyqor again. Fortunately, they are running into Vice and Vyqor again, but those players won't have weapons if they stick around. Steel Garden going through, catching one at least. Assumes going to have to wait, but he has one of his own to pop right through, and I think it might be what they're closing back in the distance for. The wall, the Thorns have bought time, and BBL canceled the play, looking elsewhere. And in fact, I think this is a learning from last round where they put a lot of pressure on the C side, even with the 2 Sentinels there, even with the, well, quasi-Sentinel Vyqor, even with the pit, they left the A side open. So this time they try to put that pressure on again, but look at 100 Thieves reacting. Vor is the second man, and there's a third coming. Bang. Oh, he might have went under the radar, but they spotted him. Still, he gets one and gets out.
Great work. 30 seconds left, but then they double back again. It's the A, the C, the A, the B. And now back to the A again. Bang is trying to retake on a site that might not even be hit. In fact, he's doubling back around, but Kreven is still waiting on the angle. Again, the start of these rounds looked incredibly good, but those 2 players finding kills in the B site puts the pressure onto Cryo to get anything done here. He was waiting for the planter to make a move. Instead, they're getting aggressive onto him. And although it's a hell of a lot of damage, 2 players onto 5 HP, the problem is Bang is also low. A bullet to him or either of the other 2. Daddy's going to try and bait them in. The first one comes easy.
That's a nice.
Next 2, though, might be slightly more difficult. Rose wrapping around from above. And he doesn't even know that there's no one else around that corner anymore. 10 to 10, a strike back from BBL, and a back and forth all the way through the round.
That's one of those rounds you'd really like to still have one pause left to use. On the side of 100 Thieves, I don't know how you're supposed to track what BBL are doing when they go A to C to A to B. The pacing there as well, like they're still putting pressure on the A site when that flank comes through. It's a small oversight in those rotations, but you can understand why they got their eye on the prize a little too much.
20 seconds left. Loiter is spamming a box. And while he's doing that, 2 teammates enter into the B site. Like, it's difficult to spot everything they're doing because it feels like there's a lot of game plans going on. That's a shot connected initially by Timotino, but a kill not garnered. And a pacey hit looking to come up on the other side, but as soon as done well, at least at the start.
Oh, that flash. It bought him time. It kept him at Larocque in position and allowed Vor to come through with the kill. Now Cryo's there to back him up. The site's been taken, kind of. A plank could be secure, but Rose, he wants to battle deep. A 2v5, not worth it. A 2v4, still not good enough, but now Kreven's all alone. And he won't be going for this, not on 29 HP. 100 Thieves finding 11 rounds, and the danger here is that this isn't even close. 4 players left alive, a huge boost to the economy for 100 Thieves, meaning that now BBL are basically just up against full buys for the rest of the half.
They are.
Crunch round, there's no doubt about it. There's not too many occasions where you'd be seeing Kreven on the opposite side of the map saving his gun, but when he's got 3,000 credits, when Larocque has enough to buy and the other teammates don't, you're going to have to basically put yourself in a position to make sure something can be purchased into the next round, because you do not want to allow 100 Thieves up to 12. So that may be a likely scenario. And again, I feel like Asuna has been playing incredibly well as those site anchors, be it covering on the C site to help out Cryo, or be it now on the other side of the map on A, basically finding that opener, having the flash to set up his teammate while he's being chased down. They knew on the BBL side, if they clear him, that A site is a lot more open, and Vora just there to cover. It's worked out wonderfully, but as we've seen so far in this, well, at least in the last few rounds, there hasn't been any consistency with winning the rounds. There's been a strike back almost every single time, and now we're going to have to look towards BBL. But as you said, there are no more check-ins with coaching staff unless we go to overtime.
Well, the timer's ticking down. You can see the true state of the BBL economy right now. 2 Sheriffs in a Classic. 1 away from the Nightfall. Farming that could be good, but Timotino, he's going aggressive. It's a risky play. And up against the Eco, I think he's going to regret that. The Op now recovered. That's another rifle. And indeed, with Lover's Rock having that in his hands.
Didn't give his teammate the Guardian before he went and got that. I will say,
oh, he's left at the door?
Yeah.
Oh, he has?
That has annoyed me a little bit, but, you know.
It's very rude.
Rose has now been dropped as well. Still nobody able to get that.
Does anyone want the Guardian?
But then again, it's Kreven and Loiter. They might even be better with the Sheriffs, with how they've been playing so far. Push up all the way through C. Luna has them locked in from behind, but it doesn't seem like there's any world in which they go back from this stage.
That smoke's going to fade soon for Cryo. He has to get a move on, a risk, having to stand his ground against many men. Blinded up, he still lands LaRock. And the 3 versus 2 for 100 Thieves is their reward.
Hello.
Even with those recovered weapons, that op is going to be left on the floor for now. The Spike trying to move towards the B side, it seems, with that door open, but Kreven's been caught, and now the TP is going to have to be used. Lloyd is going to back himself in this one. You certainly can't blame him for it. And he's heard the door. He knows that Asuna's here. There's a chance to isolate that fight if given. Gotta be careful. Lloyd might not have had the best of games so far, but this is a man that will win rounds like this if given the opportunity.
Thorns. Asuna put him in a position where he couldn't move forward for the moment, but then he does it a little bit later on. Paranoia utilized, and he's being wrapped on incredibly fast. I don't even think he knows, but it's a nice shot, at least on one. Bora had to be lightning fast with that trade, but he is 12 to 10. Map point now for 100 Thieves, but you have to bear in mind, that was them saving credits. That was them putting money away so they could buy on a rainy day. Well, BBL's rainy day is right now. They're going to be investing everything into this next round.
Cryo's gotten away with murder on that. The blast pack jump out from LaRock after the Paranoia lands.
That was a nice shot if he wasn't blind.
Yes, yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think he saw him blast pack.
Yeah, you still have to predict where he's going.
A quarter second less. But to hit that is nuts. 12 to 10. 100 Thieves. There were a few moments where it looked shaky. The 4-0 start to the 7-5 half, but they have recovered this nicely. Robbed rounds from BBL, but now a shot through the smoke takes down Bang. Do they know? Do they suspect a second player here? If Vora can beat a snake, okay, they do. Now. The Prowlers hit the snake in the grass is being dealt with. They burned the grass with the Nightmare.
That's
on anybody that's there.
2v5.
And hold on, Cryo. He's cutting off the rest of these players moving to the site. TP going to be taken by Lloyd at least, but all the while they're buying time. Kreven's wrapping up behind. A Paranoia seals the deal. 11 for BBL. One more round in regulation, and it's on 100 Thieves to close it.
You mentioned like Loiter is good at winning BS rounds. That was him getting 2 instant headshots through smoke. So I think you've kind of proven a point there, but
or so he has.
He didn't need to prove it. We already knew, but like, yeah, just ridiculous stuff coming through and putting them in a position to take this one to overtime. Of course, the last time they played this map, it also went to overtime. 16-18 defeat versus EDG. They're gonna look to try and right the wrongs if they get there, but you can see they haven't got 2 rounds in a row in this second half. This would have to be the first.
Oh, very direct to be an experiment for BBL. We haven't seen much of this and already past the Nightfall.
Got clipped.
Deep play coming from LaRock, but yeah, he did. He got clipped by the very edge of it, and the Prowler reveals exactly where he's gone. Now they can split this A site, something that has been a trouble at times. Players around this stairs position, but now they're delayed on the rotate back through. They're looking for LaRock, but he's the one to find. Bang now down, and the A site under threat.
We are going OT.
The overtime on the horizon, and with weaknesses there for 100 Thieves, and the Viper's Pit already used on the other side of the map, and Asuna already down. It's starting to look like we're going there.
Yep, you're going for an OT.
Such thing as an easy victory.
Kya baja?
3v5 needed.
Who's the baja?
Sniper honed in on the angle.
Oh, that's an HP.
And a connected shot already onto Vora, leaves him desperately low on HP. Kreven's flank also adds another to the body pile. Overtime seems inevitable. especially with the
Done
HP of
for
one of those players.
sure.
Cryo is currently fighting demons. He's fighting shadows in the spawn.
Yep.
He's not even able to leave to get
Bro, it's
towards
13
the site.
HP.
And he
Can he
now
do?
has
He
a
can't.
1v5
That's,
with 13 HP.
overtime
If you
for us.
believe in that, you're mad. 12-12. OT
OT.
once again on Lotus. BBL never make their map choice easy, but they are still in the map.
Listen, they came here to put on a show. You got to respect them for it. A game so good, we don't want it to end. And we're going to swing into overtime with a lot of learnings for both squads. Again, when we see BBL move back to that defensive side, the main thing I want to see, and I think it's a difficult balance between predictability and following the game plan that has worked, but I want to see that early aggression. It's up to them how they're going to taper that, because we've seen moments where it's like a 5v2.
They are not going to.
And then they keep going. And then they give opportunity after opportunity. Yeah. And 100 Thieves come close and even sometimes win those rounds. BBL,
look,
it's a delicate balance, and I'm not sure that they have it down.
The good news is you are going to get the aggression you want. The bad news is it's not going to be tempered. And there you go already.
Cinematic.
They're pushing C. They're pushing A.
They are pushing B.
The only place they're not pushing is B. But early information. Look at the push-up already from Lovers Rock. Now, he hasn't gone into the operator, which should tell you all you need to know. He's not going to stop this push. Now, there is, of course, the Vice wall behind. You can already see Arsenal is watching it.
That Vice wall is not in the same spot that it was before. Often, and in almost all the rounds, 100 Thieves are putting it outside C. But BBL, remember, Rose walks up on B, catches them off towards the end of the first half. Now they change it because they're committing. They're taking this A site no matter what. Remember, in regulation for the attack, what worked was that C site. But they expect an adaptation. The problem is with this much time gone, BBL have made the read. They've pushed C. They've taken all the space. The rotates are here. There's 4 players, now 3, standing by. Boyd is a big pick. With the rock gone, this is looking a whole lot better. Kreven finding his moment to stand up, to stand tall as the hero. Rose needs to be so careful. Timotino's been making this play when they take the site almost every time if they have a man advantage. But Rose sneaks through. Catches the planter, and has a chance for so much more. He's ready for that play from Timotino, but the shot doesn't land.
Rock still has time. We have Kreven as well. Same spot.
Still plenty of time for the remainder, but a man advantage, and Timotino's gone nowhere, but he will now dropped back into a 2v2. Bora was spotted as well, but Cryo might have gone unnoticed. They bypassed his position, and because of that, he has one for free. That's going to put them in an advantageous spot, and they will close. They hold the line. They get another chance at map point on their opponent's choice.
Yeah, time to finally crack that vault door for 100 Thieves coming into this. It started out in such a solid way. It looked like it could be a mismatch, but then BBL found their identity. This time they try to lean on that same defensive side aggression. They get that early flank, they get the information, they get the rotations through, and yet the round falls. That's a different vibe than what we've seen before. And now they've got to recover it on the attack. A direct play from both teams. It's clear 100 Thieves want to fight for A main. They want to scrap for it, but they're going to have to give up that control. And now Bang's kind of in no man's land. He's a little stuck, but the TP gets him to safety.
Right, the early damage. Mostly done onto LaRock.
Dropping spike.
They are all in on this A site once again. Paranoia.
That's a big C's, big C's.
C's also catching a player. They should have a decent idea. But still, players roam across the other side of the map. The corner taken to Timotino from behind. No! Timotino he might have just ended the map single-handedly, unless Loiter has a play of equal value.
Point 4 in favor of 100 Thieves.
Up against the odds, surrounded, and I think we all know how that story ends.
Down,
14-12.
And
it was a bit labored, but 100 Thieves managed to steal their opponent's map pick away in epic fashion.
Oh yeah, they had to fight tooth and nail for that one. An incredible display and an important victory. But I think if this series has taught us anything, or even if the last match that BBL played has taught us anything, is you might be able to steal their map pick, but that doesn't mean you have the series done. Even still, though, it's a huge leg up for 100 Thieves as they'll head into a map that is ultimately quite heavily favored on paper towards them.
They might be in the building, but they still have to crack that vault. And, well, it's starting to look like they might have the combination with their map pick up next. Isn't that right, Digon?
That is right for you. We are going
Thank you very much, Locksmiths, as it was a fantastic round there. It goes all the way the distance, and Timotino getting the job done, the 4K, to send them past overtime into the victory column on map number 100. Thieves up 1-0 on BBL Esports. Degon here alongside our analyst Eskakuka and Big Time. And man, what a game that was. It started off with a very streaky first half. It was 4 in a row, then 6 in a row, then 1-1. And then after that, it just felt like back and forth and back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, look, for me, I think BBL showed real prowess on this map. You know, it's clearly something that they understand, and they showed just how sharp they can be. But ultimately, I was really impressed by what 100 Thieves were able to bring out here. I think the comp is a great answer to that BBL style. The way they can beat that Vice so effortlessly.
Yeah.
This looked well drilled and well rehearsed.
I think that this is one of the perfect examples of having a Viper and not having it, making this much of an impact. When we think about the defense, that first half for BBL, they were going on the extra aggression. Rose was having a game at the beginning of that map, and you thought, oh my God, they definitely got some learnings out of the EDG head-to-head. But once the things swapped around, once 100 Thieves understood how this Turkish squad wanted to play, things changed a lot. And as you're saying, understanding the map, walking around it, and having the amount of utility that they had to deal with so many things, in the end, we just encountered one BBL that was working as 5. Think about that last round. They're so scared that you cannot work around that Viper wall so much that Timotino's behind them, and he's free to get every single kill. Very well macro understanding of the map for the side of 100 Thieves.
Yeah, for me, I love that they abused C. They were really trying to end there a lot because it's often defended by that Vice. The waylay goes up and over. The Omen can TP past as well. It becomes so hard to hold that smaller, tight site against such aggression that they're able to pull off.
And this kind of tridents that we're seeing here is what BBL also did in maps, as I was mentioning before this map, like Breeze, right? That going on the aggression and just having a lot of utility hunting you down. If you are in the middle of your default still waiting, they will at least get one of the picks. Many of these situations end up in an overheat for them, but surely on the other side, Cryo was absolutely amazing in my eyes, as I'm saying, with the utility and whatnot. And for the entirety of it, my highlight keeps being Vora. I think that he does not have as much experience as others being an IGL, and he's growing so much and adapting so well to this.
Yeah, you definitely called it. Vora was the one that you wanted us to keep an eye on, and he was wrapping them around across the map. And, you know, I think when I replay this series in my head, I feel like there were opening kills by the attacking squad, and then constant 3v5s that were being won there. Those were impactful rounds by both squads on attack, which was so fun and exciting. And going back to that waylay, you just knew how it was going to happen. It was going to be, all right, dashing over the wall.
Hello, Fortnite. Hello.
You win that fight, you lose that fight, and that happened time and time again.
Yeah, this is something Tom mentioned in the cast. I think waylay can be a little bit tricky for this team, but if it's well executed, then it's beautiful to watch. For me, this is true. You know, Patrician's Valorant, this is the smart top level, and I think they were able to execute it incredibly well. Now, on the other side for BBL, I don't think they should be too down and out after this game. Ultimately, they lost both pistols and the bonus. Still took it to overtime. It's the inverse of what happened to them in that EDG game. So I do think that they are still well in this. They know they can go toe-to-toe from an aim perspective, but ultimately now it's going to be moving across the split. It's going to get tougher.
The pistols were incredibly important because do not forget, this map started with an 0-4 deficit for the side of BBL, with 100 Thieves getting those first 4 rounds. And at the beginning, it really looked like BBL was not going to be able to play their game and being that aggressive because maybe they wanted to put some respect on the table, right?
Yeah.
Do not forget, at the beginning of the year, when they went to Santiago, they only played against America's squad. So, of course, it was America's that ultimately sent them home. So they still have to test so many because, you know, it's not like all the teams are the same. And when they lost that respect and they thought like, oh, we're going to be aggressive, they started getting the numbers up. If 100 Thieves was not able to get those pistols just because of the momentum that so quickly BBL can have and keep snowballing on, maybe it would have been a different result.
Yeah, I just think back to when they were pushing into the spawn of 100 Thieves when BBL were on defense. I was like, dang, that is when you know a team is firing on all cylinders. And it's like, you're not being too careful and you're not trying to be disrespectful, but it just comes off that way, and we're going to win the round that way, do the mental warfare. However, 100 Thieves able to stay resilient and close out that overtime. They're up 1-0 after one map, but we've got split coming up next. It is the qualifier match here for Group A here at EWC 2026. Don't go anywhere. You don't want to miss it.
No co-stream EWC. Hello. आज 1 ह्यूमन कंटिन्यू कर रहा हूँ. अरे कल से अभी कोई स्ट्रीम चालू करूँगा मैं. टूर्नामेंट चल रहा है ना.
Whenever we let it out, it becomes our superpower.
अभी 1 ह्यूमन थोड़ा खेल लेता हूँ.
Being built to supercharge it. Kadir City.
उसके लिए सेपरेट स्ट्रीम करना पड़ेगा ना. और OBS सीन बनाना पड़ेगा उसके लिए. मैं 3 दिन से कर रहा हूँ. फर्स्ट डे अच्छा रिस्पॉन्स आया, अब सेकंड डे नहीं आया. ऐसा है क्या? ट्राई करना पड़ेगा मुझे. कोई नहीं, वो आदत लगानी पड़ेगी. मैंने कभी ट्राई नहीं किया ना स्ट्रीम जैसे रिएक्ट करने वाला. बीच में अच्छा मिल रहा है वाईपीसी को. ओह, कल पूरा OBS सेटअप बनाना पड़ेगा भाई. उसके लिए मुझे सीन वगैरह बाकी चीज़ें. दूसरी चीज़ों में बिजी था. इसका इंडियन टाइम जोन क्या चल रहा है? मतलब शाम के 7 बजे से चालू है. कितने बजे? ओह, 4 बजे से. मैं मतलब लेट हूँ. कल से देखता हूँ. 4 से 10 चलता है. वो हाँ, इसमें कितने घंटे तक का?
Welcome back to EWC 2026. We're in the qualifying match to playoffs of Group A. It's 1-0 100 Thieves over the Turkish squad, BBL Esports. Very similar kind of journey here for BBL after kind of being so close in that first game. But it feels good. Like you lost
Invite कर देना अगर किसी को टीम में आना है.
I mean, that's the good news. Is in this game against EDG that we saw, map point was Lotus. It goes to overtime. They lose, but they bring the series back. So it's not without the realms of possibility. But I will say, I think this is going to be a harder game to win and sweep than that EDG game. We're moving on to Split, which is 100 Thieves pick, and it's hard to feel like BBL are going to be able to fight this.
What you cooking, girl?
I'm thinking, right? Like, if I'm 100 Thieves, I guess they continue with this later composition. They were struggling a little bit trying to find exactly where they wanted to be, but they have a composition where Asuna's on the stage. I just enjoy that. I love the stage. Sorry, it's 2026 and it keeps happening. Sorry, actually not sorry. But for the side of BBL, this is a map that has always been a little bit of a struggle. It's not only that they, if you look at the numbers, it's not like, you know, they're definitely not there. Like the victories are not going the way. To me, when I've been watching an EMEA, I think that this is one of the maps where Lotus suffers the most. And that is a problem. That is a problem in confidence and whatnot. Yes, La Rock is having an amazing tournament, but if I can get anything out of EWC for BBL, is to get the Lovish Rock that we had at the beginning of the year. At least that level of trust, that level of confidence, and that level of play, of course.
Yeah, and to do that against 100 Thieves is going to be difficult. When Timotino is firing off like that, Asuna had himself a couple of 4K rounds that were just fantastic. You want those hero moments to be able to build upon moving forward, and I think BBL, resilient as a team, but as you said, Lovers Rock individually needs one of those.
Trying and repeating the same play that isn't working. Like sometimes we've seen BBL literally hit a wall and just not knowing how to adapt here onto Split. And if we think about how difficult sometimes it can get to attack on Split, with how much control 100 Thieves put on Lotus, I think that they're going to, if they do not change anything, should have the same on Split. So it is the attack that we are concerned about. On the defense, they will get aggressive and they will get some things going their way. But something tells me that 100 Thieves has gotten a couple of notes out of that Lotus.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I think for me, watching that, I feel like 100 Thieves had answers. It looked pre-prepared. It looked smart. The anti-strat looked good, from my perspective at least. So
EMEA coaches.
That's true. But moving on to Split, I worry if you're BBL and you're kind of having to over-rely on this aggression. On the defense, you're having to over-rely on these heavy pushes that if 100 Thieves are able to hold, they're able to read your aggression, then this game becomes so difficult for them.
Yeah, but as much as they had answers, it was still an overtime forced game here. And
that's the scary thing.
That's the scary thing, right?
This is what BBL do very well. Of like, you know, we see this a lot from the Turkish teams. They play this a really aggressive style where they're not afraid to move forward. It's not always as fast as people like to think it is. They're not afraid to contact also, but it will be forwards. It is always aggressive. So when they're able to hit those shots, when they do connect, it does become scary for their opponents, no matter what read they have.
All right, just to reset the stakes here, this is Group A of EWC 2026. 100 Thieves and BBL won their initial matches against RRQ and EDG, respectively. RRQ and EDG are currently playing with EDG up 1-0 and a strong hold of that game.
The winner of
this series, 100 Thieves and BBL, will move on to the playoffs. The loser will play the winner of EDG and RRQ. So win and you're in, lose you got one more chance, but it's a tough out.
What a cool chapter this would be for 100 Thieves to get to rewrite history once again and try to, you know, shut some mouths up. Why not? For the side of BBL, they have to bounce back in a map that they only have found one singular win in the entirety of the year. As we're saying, control is not their forte, but maybe some more changes, maybe some more adaptations will lead into a victory that they need. Of course, as you were saying, 100 Thieves will be qualified, but BBL will not be out of contention of the tournament. If they are to lose, they still have another option. But at least take it to map 3, no? Why not?
Yeah, we do have the agent select coming in now for BBL. This is exactly what they love. Once again, Lovers Rock on the Neon, LaRock on that raise. The 1-2 punch for this BBL roster got rolling, but it wasn't enough in map 1. Can they show up in this map 2 to keep them alive in this series?
Yeah, it did not change anything for the side of BBL. We were expecting this just because they were not finding their results, that they would go on a different route. As I was saying, for 100 Thieves is a very different story, and we maybe not see those changes coming along, because why would you? With this composition, the last time that 3 times, the opponents didn't even make it to double digits.
There we go.
Yeah, there is the Sage.
That's what we want to see. I love the Sage on this map, and I especially love it into the BBL playstyle. This has been a clear part of the game plan for 100 Thieves. Find ways to slow them down, and Sage Vyqor will give you all the control in the world to do that.
Especially with the performance that Cry is putting up today.
Double duelist for BBL, doubling down on that aggression, getting in there. Given the fact that they're on defense, any rounds that they can pull off here would be great. Split, very fun, has been times attack-minded, mostly defense-minded. We'll see what happens here. It is BBL and 100 Thieves. 1-0 to 100 Thieves. They win, they're in. Let's see how it all shakes up in this map number 2 as we send it back on over to Tom and Mitch.
They win, they're in. I wonder how long he's been sitting on that one. It's time to see who takes the cake. Or if we're going all the way to a map number 3 for BBL, they'll certainly be hoping so. It was a tight one in that first map. But now 100 Thieves, they've got that momentum under their belt, and this is where they chose to have this battle. They started slow, though.
If they
don't deactivate the way that they did the pistol is whatever, but the third round, there were mistakes there. It could have been a different game. Could have, should have, maybe would have, but I have to say, coming into this, I like the comp that 100 Thieves are bringing to play. Kraven on the Vice can do a lot when it comes to split. I do like Vice, but the Sage right now just seems so flexible. Regardless of what position you're in, the wall is so useful on both sides. And of course, if Aston is playing the way that he was last map, that res is going to be online a lot.
What? Yeah, he was one of the original players that was almost in the conversation for Battle Sage, so he's probably going to be quite happy that that agent has come back into fashion. But I actually just think that what's most interesting going into this map is that it feels like, at least in their recent form, both teams are starting out on their stronger side. BBL have, I'll be honest, absolutely stunk on the attack. They have had games where they're able to get 7, 8 rounds on the defense and then manage just 2. In fact, the last 3 performances, 1 round on the attack, 2 rounds on the attack, 2 rounds on the attack. So for BBL, this first half feels like everything. But then you go back to some of the matches in the qualifier for 100 Thieves, 9-3 attack side versus Loud. So they have an opportunity to maybe even end this map in the first half. And for BBL, it feels like this first half is integral.
Yeah, although we have seen them bounce back, it's not that I doubt their ability to, it's more I doubt that 100 Thieves will allow it. A fake towards the B sides. How we're going to kick this one off. Presence shown, and they've dragged 4 players to that side of the map. Lloyd is the only one towards A, and now he's on 13 HP. The damage trades early favor 100 Thieves, and they have got 2 of the latest flanks I've ever seen. I will say that if BBL up the pace here, they can find themselves in a very good spot. But they're being understandably cautious, and that delay from the Sage wall is buying so much time for Timotino if he's even needed.
Putting this into seemingly a closed out round, and leaves just Loiter on 13 HP to face versus 4, and you guessed it, he's not going to be able to. It's another pistol round under the belt of 100 Thieves, and as said, if they have a stellar first half here, I do not believe in the bounce back in the second for BBL.
This is really nice work, and I think we're going to see a lot of this as the game goes on, where Kreven is going to have to be a super slow rotation, an anchor that stays even in moments where it's clear that they're going the other way. Because 100 Thieves have that Sage, and with less utility there than what we're normally going to see. So when push comes to shove for that defensive side, they want to break back out. There's the wall, there's the slows, there's the utility from the rest of the squad, and we're going to see players like Timotino, probably players like Cryo especially, with a super late roll around mid and around that B site. Now, for this round, Cryo only has a pistol, of course, but everybody else has invested. They've now lost 1 Spectre, I believe, unless there was a stinger I missed. And anything from here on out in BBL's camp will be damage worth doing.
Heal up multiple facets with both the Sky and the Sage, and while with the last player being spotted, it's all too easy in the end. It will be 2-0. It will be 4 players standing. And I now want to see what they're going to do with these Spectres. Are they expecting some lower shields on the board? I imagine after seeing the amount of Spectres that were on the other side, that's probably not going to be the case. But BBL, as I said, I want this to be an immediate breakback. I think that this is a map where the attack side really has been a mass struggle for them. And don't get me wrong, sure, they have the individuals that maybe on the day, if they show up, they'll be able to do a lot of damage. But I think versus this composition, it actually looks even worse for them going into that second half. So I'm looking at maybe even 8+ rounds on this defense if I'm going to be a believer.
2-0 already. I mean, this is... a poor start by that. Split. A third under his belt already. We are taking strides towards the showstopper being online, and now we are taking steps away from this site on the defense. A save has to be called. This was a devastating blow from 100 Thieves.
But yeah, they only had a singular rifle, and it was sent in immediately
on his own.
Off rip. And he's able to get a double entry. As you said, it was what he was able to do on the Waylay, but it is more damning on this map. What is looking like a potential flawless third round, a flawless bonus. And I almost then questioned, did BBL now take the pause around earlier? Because I bumped into MBS backstage. He goes, first 4 rounds of the last map,
Thieves.
They weren't shooting. They take a pause, demons. Well, they need the demons now. They need the demons earlier.
They weren't shooting, but look at the fights that they had. The first chance they got to shoot was like 5v3 because of the exec from this man, from Timotino, going into sites, having paranoias just like there from Bang, having the flash from the Sky as well that's covering all of this space. And so, yeah, how are you supposed to shoot when you can't see the guy? And he's moving pretty damn quickly as well. So for 100 Thieves, like the start of the rounds, when BBL sit back, It's so easy for them. The executes are destroying BBL's defense, so they have to step forward. They have to play their game. We saw it on Lotus and it worked. Now, they're going to try it. 3-man push around mid, 2 rifles gone down the bottom, the only 2 that they have, and they're watching either side. Some space. And this is kind of what we talked about earlier, and it's much more relevant on this map. The tempered aggression. If you were to just go, well, let's keep going mid, 9 times out of 10 you're losing that round, especially when there's no contact. It's a different map for that kind of shenanigans, and this dog is going to get a lot of info if it was put through. Instead, it's the
nice blind
spam. LaRock is looking to get out with his life.
Well HP.
Nice shot from Kreven. They're always going to be dangerous with these pistols, and to get an opener, not a bad way to start. Do they expect the second player? No,
nice,
they don't.
Rose.
Good work from Rose. Weapon retrieved. Second one not going to be available, but they won't mind too much. It leaves them on level. He just about makes it around the corner. And actually, that's a problem. Now 2 players dinked up. Of course, on their side, no ability for heals to come through. But they are going to play this round wounded.
Comes the dog. No one's going to be able to follow it up, though. The Thorns have made sure of that. Still the wall in play, but 100 Thieves have managed to slip through into heaven. And Kreven gets another with the pistol down below. 12 seconds left, and they have got to up the pace. It's time to get that spike down on the site. Instead, it's down up top. This round's done. There is no way for Vyqor to win this unless they literally throw it around into his hands. And they won't. BBL with their first, and it comes off the back of an unsuspecting round, let's say.
Well, when you watch this team play, it almost starts to beg the question, what is unsuspecting anymore? They do this so often with low buys, with pistols.
You said it last map, but Kreven on the Sheriff, and he showed up.
Yeah, there he is. And he definitely had a quieter first map than I think what we're used to. Of course, they have so much talent on their roster that somebody has to be towards the bottom end of the board. But we had moments from LaRock. I think Rose had a pretty decent game. Lovers Rock when he had the Operator. But of course, with 100 Thieves keeping those first few rounds incredibly clean, they actually have enough to buy into this round and the next one, and maybe even the one after that, depending on plants and depending if they save any weaponry. So no respite for the side of BBL. It's looking like a little bit more direct. Now, they got caught by the crossfire over on this A site, but this time they take the space together.
Now, Sage Wall's going to be broken, and with the Vice one standing in their way, 100 Thieves are slowed. That change of positioning from the utility has found them success here. But now 100 Thieves realize, well, there's no wall down below, I guess. Let's run through. First Thorns activated. HP paid for Timotino, but it's a trade he's more than willing to make. On the site now, we've got Kreven. He's a teammate close by Lovers Rock, but he has to stand on his own 2 feet and stands tall. There's Kreven. Cryo, the last man standing, and he's dealt with by the wraparound. Big one for BBL.
Yeah, solid hold, but also even just the information they had while there was that pressure, and I think it was while the Sage Wall and the Vice Wall were up at the same time, 2 players push mid on BBL and make it through the sewers behind. So it made it so that you see the last kill coming in from LaRock. He's actually wrapping through at this moment. They know they can't go back, so they can gamble the rest of the players over to that side of the map. Quick rotation from Lovers Rock, but it still took Kreven having a big round.
Of course.
2 on the board. As said, though, it's not done damage just yet to the economy of 100 Thieves. They were so clean in those first 3 rounds. Showstopper available for Timotino, and he's been getting entries without it.
Is very much important. I won't be available.
To be honest, I almost don't want to see him use it for the entry because he's been so clean. Every time it's 1 at a minimum, and even 1 feels disappointing. I'll close the distance on mid. This is going to be Showstopper straight up and in. Flash catches him, delays a bit, buys some time for them to flee, but stuck down below still is LaRock. He is in danger. Showstopper about to run out, has to pick a target, but he doesn't fire it, and then Rose walks through. A man who could have been dead to rights. A gamble not taken. You can't win if you don't play for 100 Thieves. A man down, it looks like another under pressure. They are swinging into Bang, and they will take him down. 5v3 now. Okay, not a bad pick. The res is online.
And there's going to be a reaction to try and deny it. It is Shake. How is Rose not dead? Finally, he goes down. And then Lovers Rocks on the other side. With the res utilized, they still sit a man down. But they look to run back in the other direction. Steps are going to be heard by Kreven, though. He's looking to try and take their weaponry away as they go towards this side of the map. Snakebite not going to connect, and he's now waiting for the drop down. He knows these players don't have weapons. Instead, they go at him with a shorty, and he'll just about get the remaining double. A solid round from BBL. They survive versus a res. Sure, they use an ult or two of their own, but I don't think they're going to care.
Well, frankly, Rose, he has some sort of protection from the Divine.
Plot armor.
There was a showstopper staring at the wall right beside him, and they just decided not to click. Then he walks up, kills that player. Then the next fight, he sprayed his entire magazine, took out a shorty while Timotino stared him in the face, and managed to kill him and get away with damage done to Asuna when he fell. A very good round from Rose, very good round from BBL, and I'll say as well, seeing Kreven have this kind of an uptick. I mentioned it in the agent select a little bit when we were coming into the map. Like, I like Kreven. I like what he can do on this map, but so far at this event, he hasn't been hitting the way that he has regionally. So that's where kind of my eye goes elsewhere, and I look more towards 100 Thieves and the success that they've had. But he stepped up. The Sheriff was ringing out, singing true. Here he finds two as well, securing a much-needed round. For BBL, all hope is not lost, evidently.
Yeah, it's a pause taken this time by 100 Thieves. I think a bit of a messier round in tow. Bear in mind that we see in the early stages of the round, it's like, oh yeah, he gets caught by a flash. Don't think Kreven was there. So I don't think anybody else could have done it.
I can tell you it was a Sky Flash.
Yes,
and
they don't have a
BBL
Sky.
didn't buy a Sky Flash that round.
No, that's true. I think we would be reporting them if they had. Exactly. But yeah, one of the few disjointed rounds we've seen throughout this game. I've loved the executions, and well, here's another one. Of course, it's Timotino in first. Trade out of ultimates is going to put them in a decent position. The setup for the Rock, but he did most of the work himself. The Nightfall forced him back, and well, it was night in the end. 3 players gone in one foul swoop. And again, they're locked in. Now, they can go down the vents. That's the one position on the map that's actually open, but the second they do, if they make any level of sound, there'll be a switch up of position from Lover's Rock. The spot out onto Kreven is a nice one. They dealt with one of the danger men. And actually, wherever they go, they should have an isolated fight.
Cover going out. Smoke down. But it looked like they wanted to push towards Loida.
Oh.
And indeed they will in the end, but it won't matter. Loida grabs them both. The spam of the smoke was a good start and a great finish. Now the lead is there for BBL. As you said, last map, it was 4-0 when they decided to start shooting, decided to start playing their game. Now they've gotten online a little bit earlier. It's good signs, but it's what we needed to see. Again, you set the expectation, Tom, that for this squad, we really want to see about 8 rounds on that defense. And 100 Thieves, as a result, they're not that far away from finding a successful half of their own, pushing up to 5.
To put it into perspective, when they played against Eternal Fire regionally, I think they got 8 rounds on the defense and lost 13-10. So that's the sort of level I'm giving to you. Like, maybe they have been able to take the time. They've had a lot of time to get ready for this event, and they fixed that attack side. But if we're going off what has happened regionally, even versus Pacific, they struggled to close it out.
Timotino heard the outlaw. It was fired at him, and yet he's decided to push into vents, to continue pressing forward, to search for that player. All the while, siphoning him into Cryo, who's waiting in A main. You almost have a split coming through now. In fact, the side strike from Timotino almost sealed the round, but Cryo's left alone with that fight up top, and BBL handle what could have been a very dangerous situation towards A nicely. Even a couple picks would have been huge. It would have left B lighter defended, allowed this split to a whole lot stronger, and instead, it's a couple pistols pushing into very bad fights for them.
It really does feel like go from round 3 to this round, and you flipped the coin and got the 2 polar opposites. A squeaky clean round earlier on in the bonus that came out from 100 Thieves, and now incredibly clean defensive side rounds coming out for BBL, building up that economy, making sure that if they want an operator going forward, they can definitely afford it, making sure that there will be no weaknesses in terms of shields, in terms of investment into rifles. And it's going to take some time for 100 Thieves to break that down. And with plays like this, what can you even do? That's 5 seconds into the round and you've lost 2 players.
They even put the slow in to stop that exact play from happening. Sweet blast packs up top on the box. So aggressive. If anything, that slow tells you they know you're doing this, or they are looking here. They are waiting for this kind of play. And do you think he gave a damn? In for 2, out for 2. And BBL in the 5v3, sitting pretty. No need to overextend anymore. And like, this is where they do just sit back, let them execute in. But if 100 Thieves get on site, they have got a Viper's Pit to work with.
Lover's Rock, though, that Viper's Pit might not be there for long. Okay, Cryo's won that fight. Looked like he was dead to rights. Regress back towards Larok, though, seems like a risky game. He's back in that same sort of form we saw in the last map. 13-5 right now. Every fight he takes seems to go his way, and he's repositioned back towards where they're moving once again. 2 more kills for the ace, but again, Cryo's managed to shut him down. The one player to do damage for 100 Thieves in this round, but can they convert that into a victory?
25 seconds left. It's been a great round for Cryo so far. Some banging shots hit. But as we hit 15, they've wrapped back around to B main. There is a decent chance that Loida will swing this wide to look for information without even going for the jump peek. They might be able to catch him, but now they seem to have the information. Crossover. Asuna at least able to find one. This plant won't get him the res, but the kill board. Rose walking out, knows the time's on his side.
Walking in towards Asuna.
Even if he fell, the round would be theirs. He knew it. And so the lead extends for BBL. Great try, though, in the 2v5. And considering what Laroc's been able to do at the start of this.
Well, this is the fun thing with him is he's blast packing before the slow. So he knows it's coming. That's him predicting how they're going to play this. But there's more than one way. A lot of the time you see a slow and a flash, or a slow and a smoke, or a flash and a smoke. If he would be likely in front of the flash because of how far forward he is up on the box. So no matter what they've thrown at him there, he gets a 1v1 fight. Now, I don't think he's going to be able to do that again because they'll be pre-firing him. And in fact, he won't be able to do it again because they've decided, you know what, I'm not about that life. I'm going to the other side of the map.
Language.
And at least on the other side of the map, you've only got Lover's Rock to worry about. You've only got all that utility from Kreven to deal with. Already, they're going to lose a man. Timatino, the one who's broken open every site they've made it towards. Been robbing rations from the enemy's backlines, even on those low-buy rounds. Now another hero needed. Numbers are their advantage. Got 4 stood together, now making it 3 with Rose finding 1. And Larok, listen, 5v3, they're all stuck in heaven. That was a bold maneuver. That's also a bold maneuver. They're pushing 1 by 1. Oh, Kreven, don't break my heart. He waits. Oh, God. It was a 5v3 moments ago. And 100 Thieves did nothing to pull this back into their favor except sit and wait for their opponents to make mistakes. Loida give up. Run for the hills. They've rezzed. It's a man advantage times 2 for 100 Thieves. And Lover's Rock's got to be the one to bring this back into their favor. He's giving them a chance. But with the pit in play, they're probably going to commit it.
Oh, at this stage, you might as well. Like, it's been a struggle to get through these rounds. As said, for 100 Thieves, 4 might even be enough. And instead for Loiter, he's got one hell of a challenge on his hands. Both players walking up towards him. First goes his way. And that's the pick down. Now he has an even fight versus Asuna. A round that looked like it was thrown away, but they might just still be able to take it, waiting on the other side. And Loiter will bring it home anyway. It doesn't matter that they seem to throw it away. BBL have players with such depth of talent that they can take it anyway.
Oh, they've just wiped the fingerprints. There's no evidence of what happened there. That should have been one of the easier closeouts for this squad. They were set up for success right away, and one by one, they pushed, they peeked, they missed, they whiffed. This fell apart.
Hello.
Luckily, they had the players in Lover's Rock and in Loida to close this one out. Keep that lead going, because this was 100 Thieves' chance to make this a legitimate half, to at least have 4 on the board. But for BBL, that milestone of 8 is within reach. In fact, it can get so much better.
वो तो है भाई,
Yeah,
क्रेजी
they're
खेल
pretty
रहा
good
है.
at the defensive side, although
क्या
the way
मारा
they're winning some of these
लास्ट के
rounds,
पीठ में.
I enjoy watching
क्या
the
टपकाया?
moment they clutch. Everything they do before that,
Yeah.
a little bit annoying. Exhibit A of walking into a smoke with a shorty versus a low buy round. Cool. You know, no respect is given. It has to be earned. BBL will teach that to anybody they play against.
Player already through the wall. But majority of that was just to clear out the utility, and now it's worked wonderfully as a bait. The showstopper gets burned up by Laurent, thinking that they were ready to execute into that B site. With 3 players on A, they were worried. Hold on, look at the position of Vora. He's sneaking his way up through the vents, and Rose just walked back from main to cover it. In the nick of time, he's realized where the snake in the grass was, and they've got one of their own. Lloyd has walked up. He's in vents. He is behind them in the sewers. They're in vents walking out, and he spotted it. This is going to be the quickest flank that they could dream of, and we might have seen whiffs today, but this man's not one to let these opportunities slip. 2 under his belt. They might get a rifle out of that. With 20 seconds on the clock, 3 players on B and a 2v4. This one should be a foregone conclusion.
Yeah, there's absolutely no way in hell they get this plant down. Laroc's still going to swing, and he's going to get both shots anyway. There's the marker of 8. I'll be honest, with 3-0 down, I had very little faith that they would be able to get to 8 rounds. Maybe 8 was the best, because I didn't expect them to win round 4 with pistols. But ever since that moment, we have seen the step up of the individuals. We've seen Loiter popping off. We've seen that space taken, similarly to what we got on Lotus, where they are just disrespecting the amount of map control that their opponents can hold. And for 100 Thieves, they at least want to get 1 towards the end of the half. Nobody wants to win, or sorry, lose 9 rounds in a row.
Oh, showstopper Timotino!
Shot by Lovers Rock.
Close the distance quicker, but Lovers Rock closes out the kills. 2 under his belt. As 100 Thieves try desperately to recover. They push into Larocque, who's hitting again and again. A flawless from BBL. This is 100 Thieves map pick, but this battleground belongs to BBL, at least in the first half.
Yeah, I think I'd be scratching my head as well. Like, it's crazy that you go. They are one of the few teams that I think we can watch that they go into a map that's their map choice, lose it close in OT, and I don't have to sit there and go, do you think they're going to be mentally boomed? Like, they've gone 3-0 down after losing their own map choice, and then they've gone, right, should we just win 9 rounds in a row? Like, all it takes, it seems, is a small spark of like, hey, maybe we shouldn't have won that. And everybody's back. Everybody's getting aggressive, pushing angles that they shouldn't. And on this map, a map that has been so good for 100 Thieves over the last few months, they're getting boomed by a team that ultimately has taken way more map control than they should ever be able to get.
I think we could tell from the very get-go. So first of all, Timotino, on the last map, the C-side takes from him. Timotino was taking back sight. He was diving in scot-free 9 times out of 10 with huge amounts of success. But the other takeaway was Larocque on that first map. Some of the shots he was hitting, you saw the confidence build round on round. You saw him start to connect. It genuinely looked like he got new mouse drivers or something. I don't know how he was able to snap so quickly. And when you see him having a day like that, you know that's not going to disappear map to map. That's going to be a problem that you have to deal with. And 100 Thieves, they just can't match what he's putting down right now. As well as I will say, some moments like that from Rose where like they get hella lucky. Kraven's left on 3 HP. That would have been a 2v2 with a rifle recovered. And instead, they narrowly miss out. That first burst of the shorty decided the round. For 100 Thieves, any one of those moments going their way. And this is a much tighter scoreline. This is a much more difficult second half for BBL. But now 9-3. It kind of feels like a formality, especially if BBL take the pistol.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that a pistol round for 100 Thieves, in a normal case, I wouldn't be too worried that they could still do this on the defensive side. I think they've proven that this is an incredibly strong map for them. But it's just that momentum. Like that's the thing that is always most terrifying with BBL, with Turkish rosters in general. When you've got Larocque, Lovers Rock, and hey, let's just say at this point, every single member of their team having highlight moments time and time again, I'm now looking at you to find that same sort of resilience, find that same breakback that they have shown Well, a pistol round, a chance to bring it back to 9-5. And as said, like, from what we've seen over the last 3 times BBL played this map, they have managed maximum 2 attack side rounds. So a pistol round would genuinely get them halfway there.
And the walkout from Rose. He's being spotted. Those spams coming very close. He's 35 HP as he fades away from middle, making it out. But Lover's Rock is not so lucky. 1 man down already. Lots of damage done. And yes, that's the same for Vora, of course. The Sage close by. And he'll come online later. In fact, no, it won't. Vora's being put to bed. Timotino also falling. The nade. They have to be desperately careful with Bang being on 9 HP.
Way back to Rose. They just wait. Like the answer might just be to wait. But with how far he's got, yeah, they're going to go all the way back around the spawn. The only thing will be if Rose overplays his hand. But I think he's playing it perfectly. Into that spawn position. Cryo definitely got some doubts, but do you choose right? That could be the defining factor of this round. He gets the kill onto Rose, and maybe it turns, but no, why would he? And Rose isn't just going to go for one. He's making sure there's nobody else. The remaining players towards the heavens, though, make things interesting. A nice shot that drops the spike. LaRock has to go back and get that, and if he could deny it, maybe that'll be enough to win the round instead. Does he know the second player is there? He does, and while falling gets the kill. A 1v3, left all on to Bang, but it's LaRock again. This man does not want to lose today.
Oh, yeah, look, when it comes to that late round scrapping, I don't think there's a chance that LaRock's dropping the ball. You have got to be quick on the trigger, or he is taking you out. And it was, I think he was 1 hit to the Sheriff on the rounding of the corner as well. A lot of damage done in that initial fight. For BBL, that round win, it's fairly damning. 100 Thieves should have next to no chance of coming back into this one. Like, winning the pistol, it's a long road ahead of you. But now double digits for BBL, a team that thrives off of momentum, and they've now won 10 rounds in a row. This is going to be one hell of a task, even just to slow these youngsters down.
I think everything is there to build momentum. They've got the players on the right side of the map, but it's completely irrelevant. A long-range shotgun being utilized.
Time for LaRock, 1 away from Showstopper.
Gonna get it one way or another, it seems, and it's gonna plant towards the end of the round. Squeaky clean, only 1 player lost. The Marshal immediately retrieved, and as I said, it's a good map for 100 Thieves, but unless they've got one hell of a streak, this one is looking like we're going to a 3rd.
And again, you saw at the end, as you said, Tom, that late round plank coming through. So we're 1 away from a showstopper coming into the next round. Now that is going to be devastating considering how on the ball LaRock has already been. You think about him having the ability to, well, look, a showstopper last half was pretty impactful, you could say. I imagine it's something 100 Thieves will be fearful of. Yeah, and often you talk about it as sort of the ability to bridge the gap of the lighter buy. The BBL don't have a lighter buy. There's 1 stinger, and other than that, everyone's got everything that they need.
Missed shot to start with. That's not what you want to be seeing. And of course, a man who literally isn't missing right now is LaRock. He might have just ended the round already. 100 Thieves have to make a decision, and that decision is made for them. They're being pushed, but they brought it back at least a little bit. Heal will be there for Bang. And honestly, although this is a plant and a man down at this scoreline, you got to go for it.
There's no saving, yeah. Maybe we can win 9 in a row. Not often going to work for LaRock. He's securing the round. He's making sure even if they do cancel this retake, there will be no opportunity to carry those weapons through to the next round. The time surely already too far gone. Certainly with 2 players having access to heaven, with the plant being that open, smoke goes down. It's going to be an attempt to just stick it. No, they need to stick it surely there. Finally, the stick's coming through, but it should be too little too late. The time already too far gone for Asuna. They let go of it.
He had to.
Indeed. Forced into it, and now BBL in with an opportunity to close this out in extremely dominant fashion.
Yeah, well, it turns out if you get a lot of rounds in the first half, You then win the pistol in second round, and then you win the bonus. By the way, in the last 3 times they played, this will be the most attack rounds they've actually managed to achieve, and they've only played 3 of them. So yeah, I think a squad that has hit their stride at the perfect moment, 100 Thieves on their own map choice, have gone completely missing. But you know what, Mitch? A fantastic time to take a pause.
You always say
nine rounds down.
You always say that. You know, let the opponent hit 12,
Look,
call your pause.
I learned my lesson.
Love it.
All gamers have proved to me that even if you're facing against that point, you need to win, what was it, 7 rounds in a row. Sometimes you take a pause and you win 6. Or maybe in this time, they'll take a pause and they'll win 9. The music got me a little bit excited.
I can see that. You started to believe in your own BS. I love that.
Yeah.
I love when that happens. It was a stun from Lovers Rock that really got them into that site. The relay bolt that hit Vyqor was completely caught by it. And the beautiful thing is, Lovers Rock doesn't even care. He ran past him and said, LaRock, didn't you need an orb, bro? Grab it. Showstopper activated, up into heaven. Like, it looked so clean. That looked like SEAL Team 6 action from BBL. And this is a team that has looked very disjointed at times.
Hello.
They love to play aggressive, and like we said, sometimes that's their downfall. But in this situation, not so much. 12-3, a 9-round gap to recover for 100 Thieves. And what we said in the last one, they stole the map. This would be high road robbery if they were to get anywhere close.
One kill before Lovers Rock. He has double the kills of the second highest player in the server. That's all you really need to know about how this game is going. We saw this yesterday, that LaRock just hit a different gear to everybody else. There was a reason why, even when they were the Ascension champions, that teams came looking to see if they could steal this youngster away. He has the potential to be one of the best players in the world. And right now, you are witnessing exactly that. Even still, though, Bro's going walkabouts will be lost. I think for 100 Thieves, even just not losing 13 rounds in a row would probably help out the mental a little bit. They've taken that pause. They've got some inspiring, or I hope inspiring words.
I don't think they get the music, Tom. So,
you know,
it'll have to be, the speech will have to be a little bit better without that backing track. Nade forcing him into the open. Asuno's dead. Vyqor ain't gonna last long either. It's LaRock again. I said it, bro. I feel like we need to check his drivers. Something's being installed. He is playing in a way I've not seen in a long time. Word.exe's got the whole PowerPoint loaded in. And for 100 Thieves, look, okay, at least Timotino's here. He's holding the cross. Will he deal with LaRock? Of course he won't! This guy is on a tear all day long. We saw it 5 rounds into the last map. He was hitting shots that we don't see all too often. And a good game turns to a great one. As BBL, they rely on LaRock. I thought the game was over, and of course it is! 4 for LaRock, 13-3, and decimation on map number 2. BBL battled and
Double Moon, how are you doing?
But the second was a straight execution.
Welcome to the stream.
Yeah,
Please like and subscribe.
Would this have been a 13-0?
मैं मालूम कौन हूँ. ऐसा नाम रख के आऊँगा तो कैसे समझेगा कौन हूँ?
For BBL. A squad that, again, lost their own map choice in OT for the second time, come into the second map as if absolutely nothing happened. By the way, that was picked by 100 Thieves. You lost 13 rounds in a row on your own map choice. I don't know what I've just witnessed. And LaRock is making statement plays after statement plays. Maybe the best player in the tournament right now. We'll have to see, because there is going to be a third map. Honestly, I think the break is going to be taken by 100 Thieves just to try and completely reset, because that was just bullying.
Absolutely, and one man that I love to bully is Digon. Take it away, baby.
देखो भाई.
Any attention from you, Mitch, is always great. Great call so far in the 1-to-1 as BBL comes storming back in emphatic fashion. There is not a single doubt that they belong, and whoever wins this qualifier match is a force to be reckoned with. Welcome back here, Digon, alongside Bea, and of course, big time. I'm sorry, I went with Bea.
Oh, okay. I'm not doing good. What about you? ऐसा तुमने बोला. So I said I'm not feeling that good today.
This is more
professional. Okay, very good English. Right? Good English. Oh, stream में बंद हो गया मेरे से.
I know
My
him as
goodness.
Tyler as well.
He also could be Tyler.
Depends on the day.
Yeah, true.
BBL
Welcome.
came and did not care whose name was on the other side. LaRock
Let's
popped off.
just shift to
I
just
mean, they
chatting
got
mode.
LaRocked. It's that simple. That was an insane.
There we go. English is my first language either. So what language should I speak? Marathi, Gujarati, Marwadi? Russian/German is my mother tongue. Oh, Russian. Sorry, bro. I am learning German in my college. I need more 3 years to learn it. 3 साल बाद. German. I only know Guten Morgen, Guten Abend, एक और कुछ तो था. बस. When do fuck the oh bye. Translator. I need my translator. Wait a minute. Boom. Translator. Please enter the text. Text. If you speak German, you have to know German. There. Translator. Larok ने ना या Japanese डिसाइडर है ना the hell I need to translate this. Can we converse in English or Russian if you can do that? Oh, you tried and failed. Yeah. Ja. Ja for the. How are you? Why are you talking German this much? Crazy. चला गया वो डिस्कॉर्ड का ना इसका ज्वाइन वगैरह होने का हाँ ठीक है नहीं सबका ही सीन है वो what did you just say Wait, did you say still that? No, I didn't say that. I don't know what is that. What did you say? Still voice chat. What is meaning of that? Still, please. When did I say please? I said, what did you? Oh yeah, we can like converse in English, I guess, because this translating your language to English and again translating it to German, it will take a lot of time. I'm muted in Discord, right? Yep, I am. How did you find my channel? Already gave it or what? That already. Oh, let me translate. I agree. Oh, damn. Shit. केसी के सामने तो इजीली जीत जाएगा. You're giving me bitch dirty. Okay, what bitch fuck damn. Oh, bhai, okay, I'm getting a. What's your ID on Discord? Some about a live. Yes. I am chatting. Okay, third map. We are going to third map.
हेवन पे आई गेस अगर नियॉन लिया तो जीत सकते हैं आई गेस BBL
Previous series against EDG of they lose that Lotus, then they steal their opponent's map pick, and we saw them win that map 3. They know that they've been there, done that, so I think they'll be on Cloud9 right now.
I still want to see what is it that BBL is going to do with Haven, because back in EMEA, we had this situation, right? Yeah. We kind of like all agreed the breach was not going to be played. All of us, but BBL, right? Nice. And then LaRock was playing the breach there on that map. It worked for a couple of times just because LaRock is just so incredibly good, and also because it allowed Lovers Rock to just play Jet the way that he wanted to. But they know, I think, and they've gotten to the conclusion that things need to change, they need to evolve, they need to move forward, most importantly. So really looking forward to see what is in this Haven. Again, the preparation for what is remaining of the year is the most important thing for all of the teams.
Look, for me, if I see LaRock after that performance go pick breach, I will unplug his PC myself. That's unacceptable for this. I want to see him on the duelist. I want to see him be aggressive. I want to see him use his momentum, not stand there holding a stun. That's no good for anybody.
And also, what is happening on the other side? I know that they're in the qualifier, they were using a different composition. I saw that Cryo was playing with the chamber. I'd be very down for that.
Oh, yeah.
We'll be having some very good chambers.
As you brought up earlier, this is their first loss across EWC qualifiers and now here at the main event. So kind of wonder, are you glass cannon where you do great when things are going great? How do you deal with adversity? How do you deal when you drop a game? Because this is a team that is full of potential, hasn't fully realized it to the level that you'd expect.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. But I will say, yes, they've been on a very good run throughout EWC, but 100 Thieves are not unfamiliar with the concept of losing. They've been known to lose in the past, and they've been able to bounce back. So it's not the end of the road for them by any means.
I don't know if that was Pacific U or EMEA U, but that was definitely not America's U. They're big time.
That doesn't exist. That does not exist. Where's the, I want to see China big time, but we'll get there eventually. Maybe on another series. For the side of 100 Thieves, I still think that it is way better to lose 13-3, as in, like, listen, they destroyed us. To we were battling for an hour. We tried everything. Stream rounds went one way or another. No, listen. Okay, the map just happened. We only need to focus on Haven. Think about that, Lotus. Think about the way that you were controlling the map. 3 sites just on this map as well. You need to treat it the same way. But the question is, are the tools going to be the same? What are you going to be facing up against?
Yeah, I mean, for me, for 100 Thieves, I really want to see Cryo run this chamber, man. He's been so good at this agent for a long time. A real signature for him, and bringing it out on Haven is a real nice fit.
And something that worked very, very well against RRQ, who, by the way, is already on their way home. Was the Phoenix with Asuna, and he should be playing, you know, if they keep going with that composition that they were playing throughout the qualifiers. Asuna would also be on that Phoenix. Still, to me, the bigger question stands. Are BBL just going to run what they were running in the qualifier, that was Jet Phoenix with LaRock playing the Phoenix, and just run it like that?
Yeah, there we go.
Looks like it is.
Got it coming in. This is much better. I'm happy to see LaRock on a Phoenix and not a breach. I would have punched the monitor. But over on the side of 100 Thieves, still waiting for the final picks to come in
Cryo,
here.
come on. I understand that you kind of think of this team, and you think of a stopping power, seriously, any stopping power, maybe a way to gather that information. 3 out of 3 maps. BBL starting on the defense, and it's been looking so good for them. Definitely the favorite side for them so far in the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand if they want to swap Cryo to this Cypher, it makes sense. It's good against that Neon and the Phoenix. No verticality there, and it's also good for helping to contain and get information on those defender side pushes that BBL are so known for, but it does mean you're losing out on that firepower. His chamber is electric, and I can't help but feel like 100 Thieves need a hero to get that momentum for them after a disappointing map 2.
I mean, all that I'm looking for here is the middle brawls. That's what I want to see round after round, to see who comes out on top.
Mirror match in terms of composition. Asuna moving away, played that Sage on the last map, specific to split. Now back onto the Phoenix. He and the rest of 100 Thieves try to continue their successful ways against BBL, who have been on fire. So easy on the eyes to watch with their gameplay. Let's see how they do it with 3 different sides to attacks on Haven. For the call on our final map here, let's send it back on over to Tom and Mitch. Against BBL, who
there you go. Is that better?
Easy on the eyes, Tom. Funny, that's how I describe Vyqor, but it's time to get into this matchup. Map number 3, after a dominant bounce back from BBL with the backbreaker on split, now there's an opportunity for this to be the saving grace of this series after a shaky start on their first map, where BBL, they were 4-0 down,
right?
they bounced back, and it was resurgence after resurgence, only for it to end in 100 Thieves' hands in overtime. After a dominant map win, the question now that you said you never ask of BBL, can they bounce back from a loss like that? We now ask of 100 Thieves. That was their choice,
but
they
the
lost
button just isn't working, and I'm really confused. Like, I don't get what's happening.
Yeah, I think most of what we will have seen in the break is not going to be about strategy coming into this map.
I was able to go stream on the first day, though. Like, it worked on the first day for some reason, but days 2 and 3, specifically, it just suddenly didn't work.
Ready and raring to go, because
I don't
to go
get it.
3-0 up and lose 13-3, that's not an easy way to bounce back. A lot of damage done early.
Twitch bug. It is a Twitch bug. No, yeah, I think so too.
Thieves, but look at the HP.
A bit unfortunate, but like it reduces my viewership, like technically, but like it's fine. I'll take it. So at least I get the coast stream still. I confirm that I still get the coast stream. It just sucks that it's not really through
a little
unofficial.
bit deeper. The next one should be for free though. Now the smokes are gone.
Man, on YouTube or Twitch, what did you apply for? It depends what you applied for. If you applied for Risk, I think that's really up to you. I don't know the data statistics on these. Oh, Kreven though.
A little bit deeper. The next one
oh,
should
Kevin really missed the timing there. But like personally, I don't know the better statistics. Like I don't know if it's better on Twitch. I don't know if it's better on YouTube.
I thought he was going to wait for his teammate.
I think just do whatever you're more comfortable with.
The thing was the timing.
I just think you do whatever is more comfortable with you.
The second
and whatever
that
you
he
applied
dropped,
for.
his
If you applied
opponent
for
turned
Twitch,
away. Look,
then stream on Twitch. If you applied for YouTube, do YouTube.
Second that player emerges from the smoke,
It's easier to reach
just
200,
turned
Twitch is going to
to
help
look
more.
at the spawn.
I guess you can make
and
arguments
so Rose
for
gets
both.
a double for free.
Like, do it.
3 in the pistol for the IGL. Well, we had our conversations about slow starts from Rose. Anything but that.
2-1 BBL, I think so too.
Pistol.
I think it's
And
2-1
that's
BBL.
14
I
rounds
think
in a
BBL
row
is
for
playing really
BBL
well right
now.
now.
When you think about that last map.
Like, it's crazy strong.
There's probably
On
isn't
YouTube,
where
I
they
am
have that
with
Rose
a dip of
recovery
2
well
viewers.
paced.
That's a struggle with
Coming in with
YouTube streaming
just
though.
pistols.
Like, I think
Very
YouTube
light buy.
streaming is a bit more difficult.
Okay.
So
Two
maybe
kills
try
is now
Twitch
getting-
streaming.
Oh,
Maybe
this
try
is
Twitch
getting
streaming.
spooky.
Especially if you can get the co-stream feature to work on Twitch.
Made it
Oh,
interesting,
Kraven,
that's for
the
sure.
one-wave
Lover's
climbing is
position
beautiful.
has gone
But if you can get
completely under the
if you can
radar.
get the Twitch stream
Well,
feature to work on
he is going to be dealt with
Twitch,
an incredibly costly
it
round,
gives
but
you a
now
bit
it
more
even gets to a
visibility because
point
you'll
of
appear
an
on the list.
opportunity.
If you have enough
Never
viewers,
mind.
though, to be fair.
Kraven
But, like,
there
you'll be
to save
pushed
the
a bit
day,
more.
make
That's
sure
why I'm
that
kind of
one
sad
doesn't get too
because
far
I
out
don't
of
have the
control.
feature right now
And although it's
because I'm unable to
incredibly costly
co-stream,
and a
so
good
I don't
round,
kind of get that
still
bonus
a round for
visibility.
BBL. And I kind of want to give you a little bit of information.
Yo, Kraven's on fire this game already, like straight off the
around the
bat.
players. Sometimes you bump into them, maybe on your way to the bathroom. And one of them, who was running, as he does in-game as well, was Lovers Rock. And as he ran past me, he went, how was that, watching the best player in the world? Talking about his teammate Larocque, obviously. And my response was, are you sure he's not cheating? Because that performance, I think he ended up on like 470-something ACS, 29 kills. I don't think he's had to do anything yet. That was the hero op.
That's the
That's-
op in this fight. I just
the
don't
EWC
know
camera
what
frame?
I'm watching
He's not
sometimes.
the
We're
best
not
player
required to
in
use the
the
They
assets
go
given.
from being
I confirm, we
such
confirm
a
that.
well-oiled
We're not
machine,
required to
13
use the
rounds in a
assets.
row with, yes,
So I was like, I'm not going to use it because if I use the asset, it's going to be too big and it's going to cover too much of
We
the
talked
screen.
about how
So I
different
decided not to use
split
the
and Lotus
assets.
aggression is because there's less
And I
space,
even have my own
there's
assets
less
that I
avenues.
made myself.
And this time he
So I'll just use those.
shift rolls through a
So yeah, they're not required, no worries.
performances, but a lot of
listen,
aggression.
Rose is pissed right now. Decent damage, all things considered. Wow, it's like, what is this guy? Lloyd has Larocque got his hand on his mouse. A wrap around now, 30 HP, a chance to make this incredibly close. That's 3 kills already. A
He didn't
third
see him.
found, but a fourth might evade him. Bang!
Bang!
Flying under the radar around the backside. It works out, but that is way closer than it should have been. The good thing is, finally, the streak of 15 has come to an end.
Oh yeah, that's the silver lining. I'm pretty sure they inted the beginning of the round and then just basically were like, okay, now give Loiter a chance to try and clutch that one out because, yeah, it just got wrecked in the initial phase. And then this guy, it's like he toggled, just starts wall-banging players with a sheriff, like the individual aim. But yeah, I genuinely, it does feel like it's important. If they had lost that round, I would have basically just called this series done. Instead, there's some vulnerabilities on the other side, but they actually don't need the operator in this round because of the fact that so many players died. There's now light shields on 4 of the 5.
Yeah, we've seen things slipping at times for
Icar
100
pe kaun
dudes.
dekh raha hai?
Now BBL are the ones slipping behind
Icar pe
enemy
kaun dekh raha
lines
hai?
with 3 players. A very fast rotation into that
Double
back
आवाज आ रहा
lines,
है
but
stream से मेरे को ऐसा बोला।
run it back. It's unavoidable at this stage. Rose was in an awkward position. The first man past the trap, good kill. Cryo falling means the trap now gone. Loida has backup coming his way. 2 already found. Bang! He was about to take that fight on short, but realizes he has to group with his team, but they have no safe haven to fight from. Down below in hell, they've got trouble for Timotino. He's able to at least get one. But stuck in the backside, surrounded. How he's still getting out with more. That's a huge round from Timotino. Right when they needed him most. Pressure from all sides, but he fights back on every front.
Yeah, he's jumping up, celebrating as well. He's getting loud.
He should be for that.
I think they need to. That's one of those ones where it felt like it was slipping away from them. The fact that, again, Loiter, he actually catches Asuna as he is coming back from his ultimate. And it looked like that round was about to crumble away up until...
नहीं ड्रैगन को म्यूट दिया
वो चिल्लाते हैं ना तभी आता है
मेरे माइक से क्योंकि लीक होती है कभी-कभी
लाइनअप देख
लाइनअप नहीं था वो साले
Tino clutches it out, brings it home, and levels them up 2-2. No crazy streak of rounds for BBL in this scenario. But you always have to be careful versus those pistols. We saw it. The way they...
Going through. Considering they're spreading out like this, playing the default, it's not somewhere I'm anticipating a lot of impact. Interestingly though, the cage up close with a trap down below, they're never going to see that coming, but it doesn't get the reveal off in time, so no punish, and now the reveal in the corner leaves Kreven isolated and dealt with. Loida dove on the backside. As we said, not a whole lot to work with when it comes to this round. In general, you see how quickly they crumble in the heads-up duels. The backstab from Asuna. Oh, I was going to say that one should be even easier, but 5 HP. Lovers Rock gets a chance to make this a little more costly on the exits if he wants. I do think, though, as this round goes on, 100 Thieves are just going to leave if it comes down to it. They're not going to be baited into going down to the spike or anything like that. So in terms of actually getting damage, it will be difficult. That's a good start. No one else one-shot, though. Unless it's a headshot, of course.
Now waiting to try and die to the spike, but you know that 100 Thieves want those orbs. Arsenal in particular. It's a little bit close for comfort, but he is going to get that extra orb towards the Phoenix ult. An important one at that. Looking like already they're back. 3 rounds in a row. Seeming a lot more comfortable on Haven. And again, another map where we have seen some struggles for the side of BBL. I would say that going into this map pool, it is intriguing that both Split and Haven were in there. They've already proved us in one avenue that Split, clearly they put some work in. And also if The Rock, I think, hits the highest ACS of the tournament so far, which is actually pretty close, because I think Starzo had 450, but that only lasted a day.
Oh, nice early aggression from the defensive side. This is what we were waiting to see in previous maps. It took them a while to pull it out, and now a full-on blitz of mid has left 100 Thieves scratching their heads. They looked a little bit overwhelmed by what just came their way, and you'd think after 2 maps of facing BBL, you'd get used to it.
It's crazy that you can win 3 rounds in a row and then lose a round in 10 seconds. That is what it's like playing against BBL. They use a Hunter's Fury, and then they just run at them. And even though they lose the opening pick, I don't even think there was a split second in any of the players' minds like, should I fall back? No, it's like we have committed to whatever the play is. I think it makes Rose's job as an IGL easier in circumstances like this. Not easier overall, because sometimes his players just decide to swing everyone, but in a round where you plan to push, everybody is on the same page. Yep. Early fake being sold by the attacking side. But with the trips not being hit, that ruse, well, it is going to give them Rose. Rose goes looking, and there was a rotation coming back from other players. In fact, the question will be, will Lovers Rock be there in time? No, the Molotov will deny.
Ball crucial time and in a post plant with a Hunter's Fury online, and a Sova sitting towards long with his back protected as well. This becomes a very difficult round for BBL. Dealing with the first players on site will be one thing. As long as Vora isn't because he is peeking right now. He's giving a chance, and Lovers Rock does not need too many chances to walk away with the kills. Now the trap down already. Flank will be a concern, but everyone's coming straight from the spawn. A heads-up duel with LaRock now on the flank around. Timotino had no idea there was a player behind him. They've managed to section this down to just 1. The Hunter's Fury practically useless at this point. Caught in the corner. He's going to a 1v1, but that flash saved the day. With LaRock having just enough time here to take this one across the line. It will be 4-3 in favor of BBL. The lead just about maintained.
Yeah, real nice try from Vor in that late round scenario, right? Using the Hunter's Fury there would have almost definitely been his demise, being stuck in the corner, and he would have basically needed to kill both of them with it within a second, but especially considering how this started, the swing back in, gave them that additional little bit of space. I think Lovers Rock does well in this round, but again, it's the response found by BBL. Lead extended, the 3-round gap, or blip. Look at what's left in the hands of the attacking side. And the thing is, Lovers Rock knows it. His sniper is in hand for that exact reason, although he has missed one of the players, but there is a drone. Is the drone... That could be a problem.
Looks like they're going to commit to that fight. Molly from LaRock cancels drone out. Other side, Rose is the one to take Timotino down. the man who has been so reliable in those fights, but for 100 Thieves, a good chance in Garage, but the setup, the cage immediately activated. Well, the flash catching Krevin, but that's neither here nor there. This has pretty much sealed the deal of the round. They've connected a W already, and another flash should guarantee it. Look at that, he couldn't see a damn thing.
15 minutes है अभी तो.
The thing is as well, I was looking at that from Lover's Rock perspective. He missed both of his shots. I was like, he's going to run in with a shorty. What I didn't realize was LaRock was going to do exactly the same thing out of the door. So I left him with nowhere to go. From a 3-round fight back to some more rounds going the other way. It's time for 100 Thieves to take a timeout. I think they've already witnessed how quickly the game can get out of control. It really does feel that sometimes, like, you want to have those pauses called just to try and break the momentum of BBL. They start getting cocky, confident, taking space away from you that they definitely shouldn't be able to get consistently. But then I also feel that there's the other side of the coin, that the second you take the pause, BBL go, we got him. We are in their heads at this stage. We know that they are feeling the pressure. And if anything, I almost feel like the next round's going to be even more aggressive.
Well, it has worked. It has worked every time, on every map. The aggressive plays, sometimes it's a little bit too much for BBL, but it is feast or famine for these guys, and often the table is plentifully filled. At this point, there's no reason to change it up. And look at the minimap. 4 players towards the C site at the start of the round. Now, you will not see this very often. This will be an immediate push down. And what we can see is that 100 Thieves have 2 players outside the C site, one of which has the spike. If BBL are pacey on this, they could already set themselves up for success in the round. In fact, they're waiting. They're waiting for a signal to send utility through. That's the player's gone, and the spike down, but the trap from Bang is sprung. The TP was stuck into the backside, and no one was paying attention. He's flown under the radar. He's emerged from the shadows and become a nightmare for BBL as he's found 3 already. That means that Lloyd is completely isolated. Trapped on long. Yes, he has the spike, but he's got some hungry mouths looking to take a bite out of him. Lloyd down. This round has crumbled. It looked like they had the right read, the right play. But in the end, their own trap sprung on them. Unless Krevin can make this work, he needs to get out of here alive. And okay, a 1v2.
Managed to deny the plant for the moment. But it will go down for Bang. This has been his round. That TP stuck was a gamble, but it was a gamble that saved them from certain demise. And now for Krevin. Ability. All on the other side of the map. Nothing to play with, and they will peek him together to make sure that that didn't go any further. A nice attempt, but it is 100 Thieves, and more importantly, Bang, that takes them home around.
Yeah, I've been a big fan of the pacing of 100 Thieves. A lot of the time, the utility from Bang has been absolutely perfect. But this was something else entirely. Just so pigeonholed in on that one position. They go towards C long, C players there. They've got utility ready and lined up, and they're throwing in hot hands. But all 4 of these players are only worried about the front, and it is that one small, tiny little detail of the Omen TP that takes them a second too long to piece together. But still big from Bang to hit those shots as well. Hunter's Fury searching for Loida. Run it back used by Asuna. Krevin might be tagged a little bit, trading out the run it backs, but they will indeed keep Asuna away from the big punish. And Krevin still hasn't been detected in the corner. The snake in the grass striking. This time the Venom sinks deep, but they respond. They respond convincingly.
Yeah, I think Timotino is actually quick enough to get his teammate while he's hiding in that corner. And then the Molotov just forces an awkward fight for Krevin. Looking like a much tighter map than what we saw in the last. The back and forth, leaving us level once again, and the trade outs of those run it backs mean that there's not going to be a massive amount to play with going into the next round. I was very worried that for 100 Thieves this might just be the mental break, but instead, after that back and forth continues, going to be a pause now taken for BBL. Of course, both teams desperate to go into that second half with the advantage, not wanting the pistol to potentially be a defining factor in this map. And for BBL, after having a good streak of rounds, you can understand why, after a couple of blips, their coach wants to get involved.
Well, yeah, I think especially that one. Like I said, it's one of those moments where your attention is elsewhere. Your full focus is on those two players swinging. He was on the spike that just fell to the floor. And, you know, at that point, you probably imagine there's 2 or 3 more guys about to come swinging around that corner, getting ready for it, pushing down to take the space, and you miss a small detail. In moments like this, that can cost you a map, and it can cost you a series. And a game as close as this very well might. Maybe I'll take that timeout with 2 rounds left to play for in this half. For 100 Thieves, certainly coming in better armed.
Technical pause.
In terms of ultimates, miles away from the important ones. I think there's a good chance we don't even get to see Asuna's run it back online by the time the half ends, but the same can be said for Larocque. Them both burning those up in the last round has taken them out of the equation. And a crucial swing part of the map. I do think, though, if I remove the ultimates and we still see that aggression from BBL, I think they'll go back to winning ways. Because the disruption from 100 Thieves in that round, the only thing that saved them was that from the shadows. If Bang even just gets 1 there, the round's over.
Yeah. No, that's true. Although the next round, a little bit more chaotic. And I think the thing that I liked from the last round was there was a lot of chaos. There was players missed in corners. There was bits that you could look at as mistakes, but then you go, okay, 100 Thieves come out of it alive. And I think that was where you look back to the last map where the second chaos ensued. That was where it seemed like BBL just ran away with it. So the fact they're able to weather the storm a little bit more in this map at least fills me with some confidence. I think that TP is a great example of it. That is Bang adapting to the chaos that has been this BBL side. And that is why we've maybe seen BBL put on the back foot a little bit here. That, okay, we're not just going to allow you to go in swinging and decimate us. And also Larocque, for his standards, is now having a quieter map. The last one, he was untouchable, unstoppable. And now I think he's being matched.
Well, indeed, for 100 Thieves, that previous map, it was definitely a blow. 13 rounds in a row. And going 2-0 down in this one. I did start to wonder, is this team crumbling? With it being their map pick previously as well, it's rare to see the blowout like that. Oh, look at that. Come prepared. So they're half back home. Well, it's been an interesting series so far. I think the one thing, though, for me, looking at BBL, is the aggression, is how it gets tempered over time. Because this is a young roster, and you can get away with this. We've seen it in the old days with like your G2 roster back in 2021, where they used to play an insanely aggressive style. They played loose with much less structure than we have nowadays. But nobody punished them. For like a year, they got away with it. They would take fights they shouldn't. They would push when they had advantages. And every time they'd find success. But we always said, one day, people will figure this out. One day, teams will just have the fundamentals, the structure there, to then make the adaptations to punish every mistake you're making. And when that day comes, you'll fade into irrelevance. Most of those players don't play anymore. So it kind of shows you where we're at in that world. And I view it as a similarity with BBL right now, in that you can play like this, that all-out aggression. But Turkey themselves had to adapt. They used to be that. They used to be your, not even G2 clone. They were a more aggressive version of that old G2 roster. They played so aggressive in every single fight. It was a 5v1. They'll push you 1 by 1 because every single player on that roster believes that not only can he beat you, that he will beat you 9 out of 10 times. If not, I think they believe 10 out of 10 times. And then they go, oh, I guess it was lag, latency, something like that. The mouse let me down. So for BBL, yeah, it works for now. But if 100 Thieves can crack that code here today, and it's going to be one day, someone's going to figure it out. Someone's going to have that response, and we'll need to see that extra layer too. Oh, that one doesn't want to play.
I like that. I like the fact that Larocque is trying to play with anybody that he can. He's clearly not feeling the pressure whatsoever. Oh, he's now playing with Mitch. Oh.
He got me.
He got you.
He got me.
You've taken...
Damn it!
Taken a massive L.
Over in London, I was doing well. I was slaying people with it.
I did my scissors rock method. It always works.
Against the best in the world.
I shouldn't say that now. People know my
against
method.
the best in the world.
No, we're not against the best, and that's it. He's proven it there in the States.
You need to train.
He's got the dub already.
He can beat you in aim. He can beat you in the rock, paper, scissors as well, but ultimately, there's a slightly bigger game at hand. And I am looking forward to the conclusion, because of course it is the talk of the town of who's going to be making into that playoff stage first. Of course, we know, I believe now at this point, we know that it's going to be a EDG on that bounce back after defeating RRQ in the elimination game earlier on over on the B stream. So ultimately, this team, one of them goes through, gets to go straight into the playoffs. The other has to go back and play EDG, which, yeah, I don't know if that's something anybody would really want.
For 100 Thieves, you come up against EDG there. You know, I believe they've got a chance, for sure. Could be definitely be a fun game to watch. But facing EDG in the lower bracket, that's not somewhere I want to be. And then for BBL facing EDG in the lower bracket in a rematch,
yeah,
that's definitely not putting a nice taste in my mouth. I don't think anyone wants to be down there, and I think for most people, maybe with full roster, EDG should be running through that upper bracket run. So for 100 Thieves, for BBL, this matchup, yeah, we've got a second chance, but that second chance is a chance to outswim a shark. It looks like we're getting fist bumps down on the stage. Folks, we might be ready to roll pretty soon. And indeed, we are already underway. 1:35 on the clock, and aggression from Lover's Rock. He's been caught this time, but he's got backup. Rose, the second layer to him. They're suspecting it. The Molly's caught him. He's dead to rights. He's taken full health bar from the hot hands. Oh, that's a devastating way to kick this one off. They're in a 5v2.
Yeah, a little bit of karma, maybe. You've given the game away with how aggressive you're going to be, that your opponents are starting to just throw utility into smokes.
I have the spike.
But either way, looking like they might continue in towards the remaining setup. Prevan and Loiter, this would have to be an impressive hold. The drone already going through, likely to give the game away, and already Prevan distracted, leaves Loiter alone. They could just leave and go back the other way, but they want to send this man into the dirt, and he's having none of it. Running out of the site, the round all but concluded, and 100 Thieves will take back the lead.
Well, disgraceful you don't believe in the Loiter 1v5 Ninja Defuse.
I do not.
He was just getting the weapon for the Ninja Defuse. Now he thought it was planted on C. It's a little mistake. He'll figure it out. But obviously saving this weapon through to the next with the state of the economy is very important. But hold on, there's a player very close. Now he's whiffed on him. This should be it. Floyd has got to run for the hills, and he has no chance of escape. Asuna right behind him for the flawless round in 100 Thieves camp. That's got to feel good. What a bounce back.
Yeah, and it has been a constant back and forth throughout this map so far. Of course, the pistol taken home by the IGL, but this is the fact that you could see that throughout this game, 100 Thieves have had to be more prepared for the opponents just taking these risks through the smoke and shutting down both Lover's Rock and Rose within the first few seconds of the round. Felt like a domino effect. The buy that's coming up here is maybe not the greatest, but it is still going to be rifles across the board. And again, 100 Thieves are in the right place at the right time, watching for those players into middle. An early shutdown, but Larocque has quickly found a kill back. He's denied the ultimate and is still going. Finally, they managed to deal with him, but it is just back and forths all over the shop.
The TP taken to the A site, steps close as Rose is already at the gates. He's closing the distance. He's right on the site. He slipped past. They have no idea. The paranoia does nothing. And now out goes the drone to see the last to mark him. Marked for death is Cryo. Rose single-handedly solving the problem that was that 2v2 and putting us neck and neck at the halftime.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong. That is him winning the first round and the last round of the half.
3K in the first, yeah.
And then doing not a lot in between. We finished 7-7, so that's 5 kills.
Oh, there's a 3K and a 2K.
Rounds, and then for the rest of the entirety of the half. But hey, if you could win your team 2 rounds as an IGL, I don't think that's too bad. And of course, will leave us level. I think ultimately you're going to look at this and go, you win the pistol and it ends up 6-6. It's not the greatest of halves for BBL. I think a good recovery from 100 Thieves, especially when you see that 3-round streak coming in. You might start to get a little bit nervous, but I think they've done well where they utilize their pauses. Both sides keeping this one close. And of course, you go back to map number 1 and OT defeat on their own map choice for BBL. Very easily could have taken this 1 in 2, and I unfortunately won't be saying the same for 100 Thieves, who really struggled on their own map choice. But I'm glad to see that that hasn't boomed them. That they are back in this map and back in this matchup, and as said, the victory will take them through to the playoffs, which when you think back to last year, BBL with a completely different squad did make it. 100 Thieves in the group of death failed. It would be new heights for them at EWC.
Yeah, I think the main one in BBL's camp, just the fact that this is a roster that after those changes come out to the Yoru, we see them fade a little bit, right? They have to take time to adapt, but they don't have time going from an international to a regional event. The meta shifts multiple times, and playing keep up, playing catch up is more so the issue. They can prove that they're still a team that can make those deep international runs with just one map here. It'd already be solidifying themselves amongst the upper echelon for what wouldn't be the first time this year. That's when you call it proof as opposed to circumstance. We certainly know they're capable, but after that second map, gotta be honest, I thought it was a definite. I thought they were a shoo-in to take this across the line, but 100 Thieves have dug deep. Timotino's been very impressive as well today. I think especially on Lotus, like his raise there was fantastic, or sorry, the Waylay was fantastic there. Raise on the previous, and now here on the Neon, finding that impact again. But Kraven last 2 maps for BBL has stepped up. He's been such an important sentinel in terms of staying alive, but now putting up that impact as well. As Sheriff is starting to sing. Although here, he has got the Bandit for the pistol.
Slower. Patient start from the side of BBL. Maybe expecting some aggression on the other side as well. Of course, you do have that double duelist in tow, but it's Timotino's gone walking out. But that's more of the bait. There's a second player up close, but he's been caught by the cam. Good spot. But they're not done fighting this just yet. Continuing that brawl towards the A site. Maybe trying to force them back into the utility.
Yeah, this is all just a ruse towards that A site, right? Sending the drone out towards long. The cam's been checking the entire time. They want to take any early information, any silent alarms that could start ringing out of the hands of 100 Thieves, so they don't know that there's no one on A long. They don't know there's no one close on A short. And as a result, they don't rotate to the other side of the map, which means that all alone is going to be Cryo. Although, actually, support coming through. Bangs on the quick rotation. Ran through the smoke so quickly, and Bangs found 2. A shock dart kills come in, and all of a sudden, Lloyd is the last man standing. It looked like BBL had managed to strike with a surprise, but 100 Thieves, and especially Bang, looked more than ready for that play.
Oh, for Loiter. It then becomes an impossible clutch. Not enough time to do anything, and another high-impact round from Bang. A triple kill over on that C site, and honestly, it's looking like his site at the moment after the TP play we saw earlier, and now holding on that side of the map. But even just the way he danced around his own utility had that additional support as well. And an important victory to grant them the lead.
And I think for Bang, what's important to highlight is like this guy's been in a position where he's had a lot of impact so far down from the utility, from the survivability and keeping the smokes online, but mainly those paranoias have been on fire. They got 100 Thieves. I think 2 of the 3 rounds that they found on Split were because of entries that came off the back of that paranoia, perfectly timed, perfectly positioned. But now he's starting to have big individual rounds as well. Top of the scoreboard for 100 Thieves at the moment. And that's a dangerous prospect. The From the Shadows success, no doubt, giving him a little bit more confidence. Peppering those players from behind. It looks like we might have another small break in the action. Hopefully nothing to keep you too long. We'll see if I can get a rematch. I'm confident this time, to be honest. I think the strategy is to start with paper. He started scissors last time, so he'll change. Always.
Right.
Very embarrassing if I'm wrong, but hey, no time for that.
It was already embarrassing.
We'll get the game in off camera, off stage, so I can say I won no matter what.
Well, you could have done that anyway, but you know.
That's true, actually. They didn't.
Just
see
no
it,
one would have believed you.
Yeah. He was asking me what I picked as well, so I could have just lied. Like, they'd be like, oh yeah, I picked scissors, mate. Unlucky.
Yeah, but that would have kept you up at night.
It would have. Yeah. I need to win fair and square, and I will one day. I'll figure him out. Well, let's see if 100 Thieves can figure them out. As right now, the lead is already found and a chance to extend it even further up against the Pistols. But this is where BBL do some of their finest, and by that I mean stress-inducing work. But the Pistols, it's only 2 bandits to work with. Majority classics. And Loida has ripped Asina's head off. I believe he was blind also.
Oh. Giving them an opener.
And a weapon.
A few spam shots going through. 3 players will be on this A side of the map, but it seems like BBL want absolutely nothing to do with it. And a lot of this is just being covered off by utility. Already spamming a couple of bullets towards the dart, trying to hold players to that side of the map, and it has done exactly that. But now they need to get running. They need to get moving. As Cryo's here completely alone. Bear in mind that Spectre has been put into the Neon's hand. A good trip will get 1, but it's an immediate trade back. Solid work from Larocque. The plant being baited to try and get somebody to try and swing if they were close. Instead, though, the shock dart will come through. Do quite a lot of damage, in fact, to Larocque, but he still stands.
Plan found for Larocque as well, 2 away from a run it back, and this is an all-out aggression from the attacking side. They're going straight into the spawn, but the stun back in return has at least bought a moment of reprieve for this squad. It doesn't last long. Lover's Rock. Some of the kill feed says Bang killed him after he died, which is, it must have been instantaneous. But what a play from BBL to come into that round having as little as they did, 2 bandits, find the opening. And again, I'm pretty sure Larocque was flashed when he found that opening. Or was it Loida? Loida, yeah, I'm pretty sure he was blind. That's crazy. He eats the flash and just pops the headshot. Anyways, fair enough.
And that Spectre's what ends up closing the round as well. So that is a bitter defeat for 100 Thieves. They get the start they were looking for, but it really does feel like nothing is separating these 2 teams. Well, now you get that massive injection of cash. You look at the investment into rifles for the side of BBL. Of course, the only freebie is Lover's Rock. There's going to have the Outlaw, which, to be honest, would have been his weapon of choice. I like this push-up, though, from Matino, but unfortunately the trip is going to be in his way. No sneaky play to be had. Hoping maybe there was a way under it, but he's definitely too tall for that.
Another for Loida. That walk out of the smoke almost got a lot for Asuna. Damage, but nothing to convert into kills. The problem with having the pistols, of course. And the rest of the squad now just going to sit back and wait. Let the spike explode and avoid giving any orbs away. When you look at the orb play for BBL already, the ultimate economy, the main man who would want those already has them. Larocque would run it back for the next round, the full buy of 100 Thieves. And especially on the attack side, like, well, obviously on the defense, in terms of playing the retake, it's going to have a lot of value. So for Asuna coming into the next round, if they can find an orb, if he finds a pick, that's going to be huge. But Larocque can get them in. And the problem is, Larocque could probably just run it aside anyways, and I'll give him a pretty good chance of taking it. If he's has the opportunity to go at it twice, it's a different story altogether.
Well, that's what he was doing on the last map, on the Rays. He was just dropping down off high angles and then while landing, having enough time to correct and insta-headshot people. Like, his performance in the last map was phenomenal. And yeah, he's been a little bit quieter in this one, but with Loiter stepping up, Kreven up there as well, they are now in the lead. Now, the investment into the Odin is a new piece for them to deal with. But it seems like they found their gap. They found the place where they want to put the pressure on, and that is the C side.
The response from 100 Thieves is mid-control. The Odin spam is just to break that window wall and maybe do a little bit of damage, but nobody's there. BBL are playing a very direct game straight into this C site, but already the rotates are there. 100 Thieves have the read, and that Hot Hands hasn't reached fully into backside. Run it back now, online. LaRock already tagged down to 46. The flash, though, might get him an opening. Never mind. Bang and Vora. With Rose and Lover's Rock down, they might think about leaving this site, running for the hills, and that's exactly the port of call. Problem is, the cam saw them, and Loida gets spammed to death, leaving LaRock to do it all. A 1v5. Hey, listen, I said second lease of life. This guy would be dangerous, but not against these odds.
Yeah, fantastic hold. The initial delay, the catch of the flank immediately, and then just the pace at which we saw that rotation come in from 100 Thieves. Even though they left one man alone on that site, they felt incredibly ready to make that move back in. Now look at the time they actually pushed the backside. There's already about 4 players ready and waiting for BBL to try and make that move. Even still, it's another investment, but really does feel like this is going to go all the way. Neither team really able to find a steady footing just yet.
There they are.
Oh, Timotino is taking a lot of space and hearing a lot of steps. The rotations are already coming towards this A site from 100 Thieves. It's Timotino. They shouldn't expect him this early to be tucked in that corner, but they've seen him. Rose spotted the edge of him, but unfortunately couldn't land the shot. And so BBL now, having lost all that space in mid, you can't really just commit to the A site. You know the rotates have probably happened. You have to kind of re-clear that mid space so they don't have an immediate flank on you. And with no information towards the C side either, BBL are playing this round blind because of how this round started.
Still, now they've been spotted. They've been seen around that middle area, but it does seem like 100 Thieves are playing into the retake this time. You have the run it back available to you. Maybe hoping for a kill off the back of the trip. Instead, he goes walking out. I'm surprised by that. It looked like a retake setup instead. Damage being done onto the ult, but even still, they've got to be careful. And advantage still held. Timotino, the first to make a move. Kreven's shot not connected and bypassed by his opponent, leaving Lover's Rock in an impossible scenario. An easy cleanup for 100 Thieves and maybe a gamble or two taken by Cryo. I was surprised by that swing, but even still, disrupting the take of BBL and now taking the lead back for themselves.
I was looking at the minimap when he opened cam. Did you see if he saw them on site? Because I'm guessing he just...
I think so.
Oh, well, yeah, that's
I thought he saw them in the cam.
That's unhinged then. Is if he missed them, if they were behind the box, then that makes sense. You know, you just think, oh, I can get out on the site a little quicker before they get in. But I guess he did look like he was ready to take the fight. Swung out with intentions and, well, can't knock him for trying. A round win found nonetheless in 100 Thieves with the lead, 9-8. The thing is, for BBL, they're still able to buy into this one, and the credits could shape up okay depending on how this goes. Even if they do lose, grab a plant out of this situation, it won't be the end of the world. Few ultimates that are close by as well. But the reality is 100 Thieves, they have plenty of credits. They can keep rebuying. They also have ultimates that are coming online. 100's Fury especially for Vora. Lead under their belt. A little bit more momentum, and they'll be across this line.
So well placed, but it's just whether or not he moves at the wrong time. Drone needs to be denied. Instead, they're going to try and catch him. Maybe not the best position anymore. Never mind. The Odin is cleared. Pinged up is going to make it awkward, but instead, Asta again. This is looking like a complete shutdown, and now they're almost tempted to get aggressive to clear out those remaining couple. Rifle retrieve for Loiter. It's the deadly duo that were desired by many. But turning this round seems impossible. They are boxed in.
Yep, and now they know it. Timotino striking from behind with the operator. Puts it down to just LaRock with 4 players on their way. And a very good idea of exactly where he can be. If he doesn't even get spammed behind that box, I'll be surprised. And now he certainly will. Asuna takes him down for double digits on 100 Thieves. And they do it in flawless fashion. If you thought their money was a problem before, it most definitely will be now. And for BBL, after a close, incredibly close first map, going to OT, and then a dominant second in their favor, seems like they might be running out of steam at the very last moment.
It's been a back and forth series. Even the way that first map started, it looked like there was an opportunity for 100 Thieves to run away with it. Then the same for BBL. Then map number 2, after 100 Thieves took the victory, I was going in saying, oh, they need to have a dominant half. Well, they had a dominant 13 rounds in a row. And now, this map has been anything but dominance. It's been back and forth all the way through. 3 rounds in a row is the most that any team has managed to garner in a streak. And well, after a few in a row, that's the moment that a pause comes through. Believe from the BBL coaching staff, a chance potentially for them to get some wise words from Key, but it's a scenario where you fought tooth and nail. You've shown that maybe there's more depth to your map pool than you might have expected with Split, and obviously Haven being a little bit further down their pecking order. But if this is the first time we see 4 rounds in a row in this map, I wonder if it might be the trigger towards the end.
Well, this is the last stand of BBL. 100 Thieves are about to hit 11. It will have to be a gargantuan effort to get back into the game if they lose this one. And the full buy comes into play. No credits for the next spam from Asuna. He's put under pressure. Vora delivers, but the kills, at least for now, not picking a favorite. Trading back and forth. Krevin's done his work, but there is much more to be done. BBL calling the freeze for now, or perhaps the full-on retreat, leaving the A site, making their way. If it's towards those pings, I fear they may go C. Okay, into the window. I think they were saying be careful of the C push, and that's a good thing, because now look at where Timotino is. The operator's waiting on C, watching for Garage, watching for C long. But the B site, the easier fight. Still Bang to deal with. He's actually stepped away.
Antishuri could deny them. Look at the position of Vora. You don't play this spot for no reason. He's trying to get them, and he's caught Loiter, his 3rd kill of the round already. Rose will get his own ultimate online from this plant, but it's finding a position where he's able to use it that's going to be far more of a problem. In fact, I think he's just going to have to commit to playing the site alongside his teammate, Larocque at the back. That's Bang spotted, but the other 2 are still unknown. There could be a player flanking through middle that they have to be aware of. The spam shot's not bad, but not quite the kill, and Bang leaves it now just to Rose. A nice first shot, but he's so desperate. Oh, he gets them all! 5 HP for Rose! But once again, he's so...
Darkest day, and Rose decides to bloom. A fantastic clutch from a man on 5 HP against players held in much higher regard than him. That is something else. It was an even trade situation to start this out, but it looked like the work was
Control
done.
the site, Durka looking for a player through the wall.
Just like
trying
that.
10-7 score
I didn't believe for a second. Not 1 second, especially when I see Timotino jump across to bait for his teammate. It looked like the freest kill of all time, but somehow Rose has managed to land the shots. 3 rounds in a row, we mentioned it. Nobody has broken that trend throughout this map so far, and still nobody has broken that trend. It took a 1 versus 3. Oh, lucky to be alive is Vora.
Joke's over. Oh, the run it back from Asuna right away. They heard players in mid, and he just wants to full pressure them. Still plenty of room left on that for him to find a battle, but not one that he wins. Rose dealing with that ultimate. And BBL have plenty of their own in response to Hunter's Fury that had a lot of impact for 100 Thieves in the previous round. Now online for Rose thanks to his big clutch. The finger guns there. If Lover's Rock wants to up the pace and play pace even without that operator, might be the way to entry into Garage. And indeed it will be. Activated, fired in, and now with the stun, this becomes very dangerous, but that Molly has bought Asuna a lot of time. He's able to slip out, he's made it to long. He should have been dead to rights.
That paranoia also helped him. Bang slow them down, walking on the other side, but Laroc's won the fight. Spike now going back towards A. An aggressive push coming in, but the lurk of Kreven has been dealt with. Leaves things back into a 3v3 scenario. Now they know exactly where their opponents are sitting. The aggressive heaven spot was bait, but Rose has been dealt with immediately. Puts them back. With 2v3, another clutch scenario needed for BBL.
It was a big round for Laroc, and now Lloyd is joining him. 2 versus 2. Bang and Cryo to find. And they're split as well. They're coming from different sides. Time is against them now, ticking. Ever quicker is the spike. The timing for Bang perfect as he catches Lloyd, and now just Laroc left to deal with. Caught in the corner and taken out with plenty of time left. 100 Thieves. They managed to make it all the way to 11.
Hey, they definitely got a little bit spicy in the middle. And a good recovery towards the end of the round. The breakback's also going to cause massive issues for the economy of that BBL side. Bear in mind that only a singular player survived in the last round. They were having to utilize Guardians, etc. And with advantages found in this round, they weren't able to capitalize. Even the shots connected, it was just timing of that push through the smoke. And you can see what they've had. It's Laroc with a run it back and a rifle. Everybody else will be down to the pistols. They're going to need him to have a lights out round.
This, if ever, is his moment. All eyes on Laroc. The Phoenix with the ult online. And in fact, this push towards the seaside, it started well. They've actually managed to send Timotino backwards on 40 HP. Kreven falls, unfortunately, but that rifle of Laroc is all we're worried about. How much can it get done? It's being caught by a trap. More time delayed, more time wasted. The op now fires, but it catches him as he's fading into... Missed! Oh my goodness, the shorty came out for Timotino! Cryo rushed in for a big side swipe, and what looked to be a scary round with that run it back leading the charge with the op shots missed with the damage onto Timotino, ends up as a flawless.
They are set up and ready to close out this map. The third and final in the series. They've had to fight tooth and nail to claw their way through their maps, with Split in the middle being a different story. However, if they make it into that playoff stage, I don't think they're going to give a damn how they got there. The main thing is making it there, having that extra preparation time for what will be coming up next week. And for BBL, they are a round away from having to try and fight versus EDG again. It's a faster pace, but Cryo again living for the moment. Caught the push up from Bang. It's going to be an interesting one, and he's found another victim. Leaves another disadvantage TP to the other side of the map with the spike, in fact, from Loiter. Mates are nowhere to be seen. They're waiting for the rotations to be pulled. I'd be able to get a plant that, I don't know, I feel like it would leave me confused, and I can see everything that's going on.
It's too risky as well. He has no idea if there's a player close to him in heaven. You plant, he kills you, nobody can stop the defuse. Have to wait for the rest of the team, but the problem is the longer that takes, and they don't know if short or long are clear, they have to take their time. But now 100 Thieves start to realize they're not going to keep 3 players outside C. They're going to push. They're going to go through mid, through garage, see that nobody's there. Eventually, you're going to have Asuna check C long. No one's there. And all the pieces start to add up and starts to make sense. 30 seconds on the clock. And as soon as they're spotted here, there's going to be a player on their back immediately. BBL should expect that. No noise across the map. Somebody must be contacting somewhere. But can they expect them to be this close? Bang. Drawing their eye to start with. Still has a paranoia, and that's going to be set up any moment now. They're waiting for it. In fact, there's the paranoia. Now the swing comes through, and he misses. It's a whiff from Timotino. A lifeline for a BBL that looked dead to rights moments ago. 3 players all from the same angle. A spray down could solve this. Could give BBL another chance, but Loida has to do it all. Rose showed him it was possible, but not this time. 100 Thieves, 13-9, with a bounce back from the desolation of Split. They've locked in and planted their flag in playoffs.
Last year at EWC, they were placed into the group of death Of course, a lot has changed since then. New players, new blood. I think Timotino has definitely been one of the most exciting to add into this roster. But the changes of coaching staff as well have brought them to a place they've not made it to before. The playoff stage is theirs. And for BBL, this means another fight needs to be had if they are going to make it into that playoffs bracket later in the tournament.
चलो भाई, आज का खत्म मेरा। PRX करने का बिल्कुल मूड नहीं है। कल भी एक ही करेंगे। PRX वैसे भी जीतने वाली, तो मूड नहीं है। आई बिलीव इन PRX। अगर टफ मैच होता है तो देखने का मजा भी आता है, बट नो, हेक नो। काम वाम है मेरे को, मुझे, तो हम वही करेंगे। फिर कल मिलते हैं। कल अगर PRX का मैच प्रॉब्ली होगा, नहीं होगा कल, बाकी के लोअर फाइनल्स वाले हैं ना, लोअर क्वालिफायर से कल देखेंगे। अगर कल करना है तो, या फिर मैं सीधा मंडे को एक मैच कर पाऊंगा। कल अगर काम वाम आएगा तो फिर नहीं कर पाऊंगा। लेट्स सी। बाय 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 बाय।